a lot of conferences. Conferences do things all differently. Giving money back, that would be difficult.
Right.
But go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt, Bernie. Amazing event. Myself, I'll be there. Joe Lockard, the Director of Operations of Automax, will be there. Anthony Santangelo will be speaking about retention of those you recruit. And Jody Atkins will also be there from Automax. And Automax is obviously a proud sponsor of Rockstar as well. So
yes.
Reciprocates.
Goes both ways.
Go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
No
I'll
worries.
try not to
No,
guy smile at you here.
Nothing wrong with that.
All right, dude.
Then we hear from Tacobi. That is
Tacobi.
Tecobi. They also ask a question, and wouldn't you love to capture interested buyers while they are looking at your ad and interact with them immediately? Now you can. By using Facebook lead generation ads plus Tacobi software, you are able to capture interested buyers and instantly respond to them with text message, engaging the customer throughout the car buying process. With Tacobi, you are able to follow up by text, import other lead sources, and text blast up to 500 customers at a time, all within minutes. Visit Tacobi.com to learn more about how you can instantly message your new leads. Anything we want to chit-chat there?
Well, Tacobi just blows my mind. They blow my mind. And I don't think there's probably, it's like sometimes you mentioned people want to stay away from money, revenues, and so forth. The information thing we sent out to you, is there anything off topic you don't want to talk about? But everyone has said either no or, I don't want to talk about money, specifically. Mm-hmm. But Jason got no problem putting it out there. Did you see this morning's post?
I did.
$4 million in revenue first quarter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's beyond a startup.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. $4 million. Now, I mean, he's added extra load of expenses. I mean, how many people have we recruited for him in the last 3 months?
20 some.
Probably 20.
Yeah. But still, that's Jason, go out and buy another car. Oh, buy a bigger boat, dude.
It's a product that works. That's
right. It works. It flat out works.
Dan Webb will be on in 2 weeks from today. Dan will be on the show.
That's right. Dan Webb. Shout out to Dan Webb.
Is that a Monday? That might not be a Monday. The week of whatever week that is. The week of the 20th. Dan will be in here.
I have that information. Would you like it?
Sure, why not? Dan
Webb, Monday, May 20th at noon.
There you go.
He's a late sleeper. Go ahead, Aaron.
all right. And then we'll share a little information from our friends at Dealer World Performance Agency. When you want more traffic but you want less vendors, when you want to reduce your budget and fees, Dealer World can do it. Better ads with a focus on leads, and more leads, chats, phone calls, and walk-ins. Everything Dealer World does is result-oriented. From better radio and TV to better lead generating digital and social, Dealer World can do it all and for sometimes half the fees you're currently paying. Visit mydealerworld.com, one of the fastest growing performance agencies, for an advertising audit to see if they can help you.
Right. I'm still going to call them an ad agency just because I like it better. And it reminds me of Mad Men. I just can't get away from it.
Yeah, he likes the performance, though, I think is really what, because of the way in which he charges, it's a flat fee and they got to perform. And they don't get money off of when they use different sources, they don't get kickbacks, so to speak.
And as we talked with Troy last week, one of the things that he does is he goes beyond, because of his experience and the experience of the people that he has around him, which is mind-blowing in itself, he's able to dive deeper than a typical marketing company, ad agency, and so forth, because he knows the car business. Right. So, okay, here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what your budget's going to be. Here's our reach, our frequency, so on and so forth. Okay, well, now here's not working inside the store. Here's what you need to do to fix it, so we both win. And I think as far as ad agencies or performance agencies go, I think that it totally sets my Dealer World apart. And how do you get a hold of them?
mydealerworld.com.
Yes.
mydealerworld.com.
Yeah, it's really the product specialist sales representative analogy. Exactly to a T. Mm-hmm. that, like you said, calling them an ad agency is selling them short. The problem is when you're pitching it to a dealer or, for SEO purposes, nobody knows what the hell a performance agency is. And we tell our dealers that all the time.
That's a great point.
It's like, that product specialist sounds a lot better than sales representative. It might be, more accurate as far as what they're going to do within your store. Right. The problem is no one knows what that is yet. No one's searching for it on the internet, so it doesn't matter.
Right. New vehicle concierge.
Yeah. Anything.
It's like,
anything
that sounds
like
good, but you ain't going to hire anybody.
Right. Same analogy.
Good point. And then we have the dynamic folks at Automotive HR.
Woo.
Yeah. Automotive HR is a complete HR management system for both large and small dealerships, and really every dealership. It targets and tracks top automotive talent through visiting hundreds of job boards, including Indeed, ZipRecruiter, Glassdoor, and Google for Jobs. Automotive HR provides a professional, branded career website and microsites that enhance the candidate experience and shares quality information about the dealership. Automotive HR allows managers to schedule, interview, and hire with ease and documents all communication. The platform is EEO and OFCCP compliant with a full audit trail, and it can be used to enhance the targeting and onboarding and hiring process. We use the platform, so
Right.
I would strongly suggest that's one you take a look at as well.
Yeah. I love the question. And you'll see it in, I don't know, maybe we're gray area on this and how much we share this stuff, but so many graduating classes,
Yeah.
so many
Hiring campaigns.
hiring, recruiting campaigns and initial sales orientation classes. They're not training classes. When we get the videos, reviews from the dealers, which is awesome, I'm going to suggest to you, Mr. Guest, that I'm going to get to here in a minute, that you do more video testimonials with your people.
Agreed.
They're powerful, man.
Yeah.
It makes it
Makes it
eliminates advertising.
Absolutely.
So at any rate, invariably, and I don't know, I'm going to guess 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10, always say, where did you find these people? Mm-hmm. Are these people aliens from outer space? How did you, we've been running ads for blah, 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 blah. And the answer, it's real simple. It's a very deep, dark secret that I'm going to tell you right now. It's Automotive HR's. Automotive HR. And our friend Stephen Warner, who's the CEO. This company is unbelievable. Without them, it would get a little
Make a
dicey.
difference, yeah.
So it's they're the best. They're the best.
Yeah, and come to me if you're interested because you get a discount if you come through me.
Nice.
Not him or him, just me.
Joe Locker.
Through me.
Right. Stop with
Call
that.
my cell phone.
Right. The founder and president
I'll hook you up.
cannot give a discount, nor can the minority partner general manager, first person hired to Automax, cannot give you a discount. Only my dear sweet oldest son, Joe Locker, director of operations, can give a discount.
Yep, I got the promo code.
Okay.
There it is.
And you don't want to share it. Yeah. All right. Fine, then. All right.
Look
so
us up. We'll get it for you.
We are. I promise. We're 7 minutes into this thing. We're going to be here for a while. Anthony's got no life, so we're going to. He had open white space today. We'll
sure
get into here in a little bit. But before I do that, I want to let everyone know that's out there that you can. Let's see. We've got. Go to our YouTube channel. It's Automax Recruiting. This is being live streamed there as we speak. So Automax Recruiting, please subscribe. That'd be awesome.
Are you watching yourself on the video?
I want to see
watching yourself.
I want to see where the angle is.
That's a good idea. How's it look?
Smart man.
Does it look all right?
Yeah, you look good, bro.
All right, good.
You're handsome, though.
Looking good never goes out of style.
That's right.
Detailed for retail.
Superman.
Detail for retail. I'm
get
gonna steal
flying.
that. I like that one.
Wash it and you get it dirty.
I like
Somehow,
it.
let's
I like
figure
this
that
one.
out.
Well, I'm older than you, man. I got old stuff.
What, by what, 2-3 years?
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
his hand,
Times
that's it.
10.
Awesome.
So,
Use his hand.
So where you can find us. So go to our Automax Recruiting YouTube channel. Please subscribe. That'd be awesome. I wish I could give you something, but I think we're going to end up with 1 million people. And if I gave you all $1, there goes my son's inheritance. So that would suck for him.
There's an inheritance?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah, you're living in it. This is as good as it gets, son. And you can go to our Facebook business page. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky, so I want to make sure that everyone's on board with there. We have two. The one that this live stream to and is on right now is Automax Recruiting. Automax Recruiting. So please like that page, set your notifications. So when we do these live streams, you are right in the midst of it. Plus, we are on iTunes. We are on Google Play. We are on Spotify. We are on Stitcher. We are on... Did I miss anybody?
You guys are everywhere.
Yeah, we're pretty much everywhere that you can listen to or see a podcast. We are there. The reason that happens is sponsors pay us a boatload of dough, and that's why we can afford these fabulous studios at...
All Systems Go AV.
Ben
Salem,
Salem,
Pennsylvania.
yeah.
All Systems Go AV. Yeah, and this really is a cool place, and the owners of this place are awesome. They produce a show. And I think last week I made the mistake. I misspoke, said, so if you're local, come on in and blah, blah, blah. These guys go everywhere.
Yeah.
I forget where they told us, but we're not going to be doing a podcast. We're doing 2 today, 2 tomorrow. But then I think they're taking a vacation. They're going to Hawaii or something for a week. No, I'm only kidding. They have a job somewhere out of the state somewhere. So, and of course we're going to be at the Rockstar event. But these people are really, really terrific here. If you want to get into podcasting, they do have space available. It's a great setup. They're awesome people, just very accommodating and very sharp, very smart people. So, unfortunately, they don't give us any discount for me saying that. Adam, I hope you're listening. Yeah, don't put your hands up.
He's like, this doesn't work.
Yeah, you could make that happen, Adam. I'm going to hit you up in about 6 months. We have about 1 million viewers here. So I promise we're going to get started. So I leave my house, my driveway, about 3 weeks ago. This is going to sound so weird, but maybe not. About 3 weeks ago, I bought a 1996 Jaguar Vanderplas from a friend of mine, 69,000 miles. Car's immaculate,
That's
like
awesome.
Brand new. So you know my dog, Dixie?
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So Dixie, so I also have a 2001 S-Class Mercedes,
Yeah.
right? So this is where it sounds goofy. But they're old cars, so I think it's acceptable. That's her car.
Nothing wrong with that.
She does not want to. She will not ride in a Jaguar. She slips and slides all over the place.
Yeah.
She loves the Mercedes.
Yeah.
So I needed a second car,
Absolutely. No, I get it.
right?
I get it. I'm a dog
So
guy.
I go by this friend of mine. I bought 20 cars from Chris Lasco Motors. Chris, you owe me money for that plug. This car is brand new. I mean, knee deep in rubber. 5 years in a garage. Guy goes through the car. I go up there to buy a different Mercedes. Actually, I see this Jaguar Vanderplas. It's the green, and I mean, it's
Nice.
really nice.
Yeah.
He just put 4 brand new Pirellis on it, so it's knee deep in rubber,
Yeah.
ready to go. Bang! It's like car's fast, beautiful. Just it's awesome.
Yeah.
I like old cars.
Yeah.
I'm an old guy.
I'm the same.
An old guy.
Both.
Oh.
I'm getting there.
So I get up this morning. Joanna stops over some last minute podcast stuff and so on and so forth, right? And she's looking at the car. First time she's seen the car. She said, "Wow, this is clean. This is nice." I said, "Yeah, man, this car's perfect." I said those words. This car's perfect.
That was smart.
Yeah. Now I'm leaving at 8:43, right? And Anthony's going to be here at 11. That's what time the show's supposed to start. It took me an hour and 7 minutes to get here last week for the shows.
Really?
Yeah, that's all it took.
Okay.
So I'm like, man, I'm cool, plenty of time,
Yeah.
relax, spend some time with Anthony, before the podcast. Stop at Wawa, fill up my tank, get on the road, go over the Ben Franklin, get on the 95, and Google reroutes me. There's 4 lanes of 8 trillion cars.
Yeah.
I end up down in Penn's Landing. That's where they rerouted me, Ernie.
Yeah, me too. It's Columbus Boulevard.
Yeah, Columbus Boulevard, and then I have like 9 lefts and a right and a left. There were holes the size of if a meteor hit the earth, right? So I'm banging into these holes thinking, man, I got 5 feet of Pirellis under this thing. I'm good to go, right? I'm 5 miles from the exit to come to the studio, and the ass end of the car started feeling weird. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. I got a rear differential problem. What is going on? Guy comes flying up on my left-hand side, pointing the back of the car. I'm going,
shit.
Are you kidding me? It's a freaking flat tire. Pull off the side, right? So I text Joe and Ernie real quick, said, flat tire, calling AAA. So I call AAA, I look over to the side, there's Ernie right.
What are the odds?
Right? What are the odds, dude? I mean, we're both going to the same place. But I'm talking about 3 minutes I'm sitting here.
lucky.
I'm on the phone with AAA, trying to get a hold of AAA, not your boy. But right? So God bless Ernie Kasperowitz, man. And so I have a couple orthopedic issues going on, so,
There was no way you were going to do it.
yeah, there's no way I can physically
Leave it at that.
Right, we'll leave it at
Plus,
that.
Ernie's an Eagle Scout we learned last week.
see?
So
He's an Eagle Scout.
Always be prepared.
Right. He could have
Jumped
done it
into
rubbing
action.
2 sticks together. I think he could have changed that tire. So I look at the spare, right? And the spare, the rim is, $1,000 rim or whatever those things are. It's perfect, looks good. Tire, right?
Yeah.
Check it up. Pull the other one off, put the other one on. Spares flat.
Oh my God.
So we are 1.4 miles from the studio. And I just posted on Instagram, Twitter, and Automax Recruiting business page a picture of the tire and why this podcast is starting late. But wow. But I'm happy. I'm just so happy.
It could be worse.
It could be.
It could be.
You could have had a flat in Penn's Landing.
Oh, that would have been bad.
We'd have been podcasting without you.
And one of the main reasons I'm so happy is because of our guest, Anthony Alagona. So about 2 weeks ago, Elise, right?
Yeah.
Put something out on Facebook. I don't know if it was in her group or it might have just been a general post about a challenge, right? She's been on this thing for like a year and a half, man.
She's been itching for it.
Right. And you jumped in.
Yeah.
Right? And you guys are friends.
Yeah.
You're I don't know. Competitors is just such a stupid word because there's so many car dealerships. So it's like, even though you guys do, I
refer to my clients.
Yeah, right. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't.
Not, yeah.
It's just, it's not. However, you both have very distinctive, different ways of doing things that we want to get into on the podcast today,
100%.
which would be cool. So you were all about it.
Yeah.
Like, let's go, girl. Right? We're going to make, 8 trillion phone calls. And was it based on appointment set? Or what was the original?
She wanted an appointment set.
Right. And you wanted... shows. But
shows have to be involved, building rapport, having conversations, creating a relationship.
Right.
Anybody can set an appointment. So
then when I saw that, he just cringed when he said anybody can set an appointment.
Didn't mean that, at least.
Right. So I immediately private message DM'd both of you. So let's do it on the show.
I'm down.
It's like 5-6 hours. And in my head, Anthony makes a call. And outgoing, I don't know how we could work an inbound, but well, whatever. Then Elise does, Anthony does, Elise. That was my, just initial thought, right? And so I send him on a calendar, bang. 3 minutes later, I get Anthony's back, bang.
I love this stuff.
Right? So now, which freaked me out because of to me, because it's become one of your social media. I think it's a really good social media, the filling in white space thing.
Yeah.
At first, I wasn't sure.
What I was doing with it, yeah.
But then I was like, okay, well, you want to go to a restaurant that has a bunch of cars parked in it, don't you? You don't want to go there with an empty parking lot, right? And this guy's got no white space, meaning no available times on his calendar to service more dealers. You do, but it
Very
was
limited.
filling up, right? So first of all, thank you for coming in here and doing this,
course.
man. It's freaking awesome.
I respect you guys. You guys are people I kind of been mentors, and you've been supportive, and you've been doing it for a long time, so I respect all you guys. So I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. And so, Elise, this is a challenge to you. Find some empty white space, and come in here.
Do it, Elise.
Right, and just you and Anthony, we can have the studio, whatever, you know.
I'll get some of my guys just to start calling dealerships and calling clients and get them on the line for us to take over, TO to us.
That'd be cool.
All right.
Right, that'd be the way to do it, huh?
Yeah, just get people
That's a good
down,
idea.
get somebody to pick up, and then TO it to us.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a real good idea. All right, so here's where I want to start with you. So, not that long ago, it's not like you've been doing this like for a zillion years, man. You're it's a kind of an outlier on what's happened to you. And again, I don't want to want to make sure I phrase this right, but the difference between having no money, actually, because I know a lot of your story,
Yeah.
below no money,
Yeah.
like way past below no money, right?
Yeah.
To now having very little white space
Yeah.
on your calendar, which means you're busy.
Yes.
Been talking with some OEMs,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Just
About 4 of them.
after the podcast, I'll give you some suggestions on that,
Okay.
some stuff to be careful with.
Please.
Okay. So the difference between having no money in your life,
Yeah.
I mean like no money,
None. Zero.
to being able to pay your bills, live in a nice place,
Take care of my family.
take care of your family. And I see, one of the things I see, and I guess I'm trying to lead you in a certain direction, but every once in a while when you're on the beach doing your run with Zeus, that's Anthony's pit. He's a full pit, right?
Yep. Red-nosed pit bull.
Right. Every once in a while you'll take a picture of a big home on the beach, right?
Yes.
Kind of like a social media vision board.
Yes. That's exactly
Do you
what it is.
actually have a vision board at home or
Yes,
no?
I do.
Oh, you
Yes,
do?
yes, I do.
Okay, well, that was just a lucky guess because that's what it means to me when I see those pictures.
Yes.
It's like, okay, he's putting that in his head.
Yes, I will own that house.
Right,
One day.
right? So,
As long as it's in a different state.
I'll rent it out.
We,
yeah.
we discussed the Jersey problem pre-show.
So, aside from the money, not to discount money and how it
No.
affects a person's life,
Of course.
but how does it make you feel knowing in a short period of time, I'm guessing 5 years, 6 years?
You won't believe it.
Huh. Well, maybe less.
I've been on my May 14th. I'll be on my own 4. I've been doing it for 8.
Right, right. So from, and you can go further with it,
Yeah.
but from below zero
Yep.
to where you are now, aside just from the actual money, how does that make you feel? And if someone's listening right now, and I'm sure there are,
Yeah.
like, yeah, dude, what is the secret? How can I just go from below zero and impact my life, my family's life, whatever industry you're in?
Yeah.
How can I go from that to making a nice living on a way to wealth?
Faith, and a strong belief in yourself. I told myself that when I didn't have anything, it's not really hard to give up what you have. So I told myself it was time for me to go all in. I didn't really have anything to lose, so I was willing to put everything out there. And I focus on one day at a time. I tell myself I'm just going to do my very best today, and just kind of comes in from where, from what you say, if you were to die at midnight,
Right.
what would you change? And I tell myself, just let me put it all out on the line today, and if I wake up tomorrow, I'm just going to do it again, and just take it 24 hours at a time.
Okay, so let me break that down. Personal responsibility, number one,
Yes.
right? 8 years ago, you were not personal. You
No.
were personally irresponsible,
Oh my God, I had a good time making bad decisions. Really good time.
right?
I did.
Yeah, it's fun. I went through a couple years of that.
I had a lot of fun.
Personal responsibility. So pull yourself up from the bootstraps and go make it happen. And anybody can do it. You hear that a lot,
Yeah.
right? How true is that for everyone? Can everyone really do that? Can everyone change their station in life, given the fact that they have the mental
capacity.
aptitude of capacity.
Yeah.
There's not something really mentally or
Yeah.
wrong with them, or what have you. Is it a personal responsibility? Can a person pull themselves up from their bootstraps and truly change their life? And if so, 2, 3 tips.
Okay. I think that answer is yes. I think you have to get to a point of where you're fed up with where you're at and what you're doing. And when I hit rock bottom, I was fed up, and I took a look in the mirror. I say most people like to look through a window to look for reasons, and instead of looking in the mirror. And I had to take a deep look in the mirror and ask myself, is this how I'm going to define myself? Am I going to keep using my past or what happened to me when I was a kid or how I grew up as an excuse as to why I can't go out and go get it? And I've also seen some friends that we know of change their lives around, and it's who you surround yourself with. It's who you look to for motivation and faith. And my advice is to find something that you really, really want to do, and be willing to put everything out there. And I live by 2 habits. I mean by 2 quotes in life. You know me. I do a lot of motivational stuff on social media.
Yep.
But the 2 quotes that really kind of define my life is, number 1, you have to consciously create your habits, because your habits are going to unconsciously create your reality. And then the second quote I live by is, if you want the things that most people don't have in life, you must be willing to do the things most people are not willing to do. And I just put a post out yesterday. If it's between me and you, I'm going to outwork you.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and you're right. And we hear that a lot, don't we? You know, losers aren't willing to do what winners are, and so on and so forth.
Right. And can we talk, going back to kind of the first quote?
Yeah.
You have 10 steps. You talk about habits.
Yes.
You have a sheet. I know you passed it out at our conference.
Yeah.
It's 10 steps. Is it 10 or 8?
10.
It's 10 steps to shift your paradigm, right?
Yeah, yes.
And it is phenomenal.
I appreciate it.
My wife found it in my laptop bag.
Yeah.
She goes, "What's this?" And she started looking over it. She made a copy of it. She keeps it by her bedside. I was reading over it last night, and they are absolutely exceptional. The one that if you have a couple minutes, I want to kind of dive into, because I struggle with it. And I read it over a few times, and I've been thinking about it all through last night and into this morning. I want to see if you have one.
Yeah.
It's find a mission bigger than yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it got me thinking. And we just talked about it. We're talking about money's great. And obviously it's got to be there.
Yeah.
You have a family now. You have another child on the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We should
Congrats.
mention that.
Thank
Congratulations to your wife.
Awesome.
Anthony asked me before the show if it gets easier, because I have 3 kids. What was my response?
No.
No.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
I'm in trouble.
Much harder. But so I was struggling with that, because it's hard. It's not being selfish.
No.
Like I said, you got to take care of your family, and money's important. But it's good to have something bigger than yourself to be working towards. What is yours? What's your mission? What's bigger than you that you feel like you're working towards, or that keeps you going beyond just paying bills?
To be honest with you, it's not even about the money for me. Even when I left to go on my own, it wasn't about the let's go make a bunch of money thing. There's a quote that Jim Rohn, I heard from Jim Rohn, and I think he got it from somebody else.
Big Browns fan, by the way.
Yes.
Listen to Jim Rome, everybody.
He's awesome.
Go ahead.
No, Jim Rohn.
Oh, I thought you said Jim Rohn.
No, R-O-H-N. He was a motivational speaker that passed, but there's a quote that I listen to him in the shower every day, and there's a quote that he said, make a goal to be a millionaire, not because of the money you're going to make, but because who it's going to turn you into by becoming a millionaire. Meaning that once you learn how to make money, you'll never forget. And it wasn't about making money for me. My mission, I believe, and this is coming even when I was working in hospitality, or when I worked for my parents growing up in their gas station and convenience store, I love people.
Right.
So my intention is to affect as many people as possible, and it's not even about the money. So, I went to Lowe's the other day to pick up some plumbing supplies to try to fix a sink, which, by the way, I couldn't do, so I had to call a plumber.
Never try to do plumbing on your own. There's some DIY
No.
stuff
Electrical.
you can do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
Plumbing, electric.
This is not me. I'll sell it, but I definitely can't install it.
Right. Google it.
But I saw an old man walking out of the Lowe's, and he had a cart and he had a bunch of lumber on it, and he was struggling, and wood was falling all over the place. And I'm that type of guy that gets put into positions. God puts me into positions, I believe, to help more people. Whether it's when I was in Tennessee to help a client, and I was in a suit, and I was driving by, and I saw a lady in a Jeep, and she had a flat. I'm the guy that changes a suit and changes a tire in a suit.
Right.
I just truly love to kind of affect people, especially people that are struggling mentally or physically. I make it a point to, if you meet me, I want you to feel like you've been affected by me in a positive way. And I've always been like that for some reason.
Yeah.
And sometimes even my wife will say, I'm so good at giving advice to others, and sometimes it's hard for me to take my own advice sometimes.
Sure. Yeah, I think we're all like that to a point.
Absolutely.
So
what
it's
are
people
those?
for me.
What are the 10?
The
Do you wanna
10,
share?
well, the first thing I do, there's 3 things I do in the morning to get myself into a mindset, because I haven't always been this way. I've always been more of a positive kind of guy, but the way I was raised, not the way I was raised, the way I grew up, I saw a lot of things, and I dealt with a lot of outside factors that kind of made me a little bit of a pessimist, so to speak. And I used those as excuses growing up as to why I couldn't go chase my dreams. So it took me a while to get into my mindset, but the way, and even now, I'm a normal. I'm married, and me and my wife don't see eye to eye all the time, and I don't wake up in the best of mood sometimes. But people say, Anthony, how do you get yourself into the energy that you're in? And I have 3 habits that I do as soon as I wake up in the morning. The first thing I do is I look for something motivational. I read it, I watch it, or I listen to it. Usually it's a motivational speaker. And I listen to something that's going to motivate me, because you don't just wake up motivated.
Nope.
And then I literally go out and I find a YouTube video of a comedian. And I proactively look for my first smile, which is why you see me post a picture of me and my son every day.
Right.
This is why my son smiles every day. I mean, he literally wakes up, looks at me, claps his hands, and starts smiling. And it's because we practice it.
That's
right?
awesome.
I tell people happiness is a choice. And for a long time, I didn't make that choice. And then I do something to hone my skills. And this is what I kind of preach when I'm on site with dealerships, or when I'm working with whatever kind of company I'm working with, is how many people in your life do you know that actually go out and practice their craft and hone their skills? And that's what I think separates me from most people, is that I hone my skills every single day in some shape or form. I'm going to practice what I'm going to do, because most people won't do it, and the people that do it are leaders of their industries. I mean, even people like professional sports players go, oh, they don't deserve that much money. They train their entire life. You're an
Everything they
athlete.
do all day long, everything they put in their body, literally the good ones. And
Absolutely.
Again, we
Right.
talked last week, and I know one of the 10 is about exercise,
Yes.
and physical fitness. And we talked last week about the physiology, psychology tie-in. And you talk about athletes. It's the good to great thing again.
Yes.
There's guys that can come into the league and there's just have talent, and they're going to coast and they're going to get by. And,
Yeah.
But the true elite athletes, they it's debatable on whether or not they should make it that much. Who cares?
Yeah.
They work their asses off.
Exactly, to get there.
24/7, 365.
When most people wouldn't.
Right.
And working out is something, just like you said, working out is something I do every day. And honestly, the reason I did that is when I did jump out on my own, I knew I had to focus on something that I had control over. And I told myself the way I was going to get over all the obstacles that were going to get thrown at me when I left, I needed to see some success in my life that I had control over. And I told myself I'm going to run every day for 90 days. And I told myself I was going to run further, which was a
I
mistake.
remember that.
Remember
when
that?
you started that. Yes, I do.
I purposely put it on social media to hold myself accountable. And a lot of people say, oh, why do you put it on social media? Does it
Right.
not count? I'm like, no, it's
Right.
not for that. It's,
Right.
Number one, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to inspire you.
Right.
I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but if I can do what I'm doing, so
Right.
can other people.
Right.
So I told myself I was going to run every day, and I was going to run a little bit further every day, and I was going to work out every day for 90 days. And I told myself, Anthony, if things don't pan out the way that you want them to, and you get pushed out of this industry for some reason, at least I'll be in shape. At least and when you look good, you feel good, and
Feel
when
better
you feel
about
good,
yourself,
you do
yeah.
good, and it's all just a compound effect. And I said, worst case scenario, my fiance is going to love me. So that was a win at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
I do it just to get myself into a mindset. I do it as 60 minutes of Anthony time. Sometimes my wife is like, you got to go to the gym again. I'm like, it's just a place for me to go, exercise,
Yeah.
free my mind, and
Right.
stop thinking of everything that's
Right.
going on.
Yeah.
And this is what we talked about last week with Troy. Troy and I both do mindfulness meditation or some version of meditation. And Ernie, you were talking about how it's tough for you to just sit there and not do anything. Exercise is meditation. It's, if you're doing it the right way, if you're in there and you're really focused on it, you're bopping around looking at your phone and stuff.
Yeah.
But wherever you're at, if you're just running on the beach, if you're in a gym, if it's just 60 minutes of you time where you're just alone with your thoughts focused on one goal, that's meditation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
That's
so
getting
far,
your head right.
how much time so far have you put into the day in this self preparation?
Every day?
Yeah.
To get myself into a mindset, I mean, usually in the morning it doesn't take me long because I've been doing it for so long now. So I can get myself into a different mindset probably within about a 15, 20-minute period. Sometimes it takes a little longer, especially if I'm traveling. I mean, there's times that I wake up and I'm just not in the mood.
Sure.
And I literally have to walk my dog Zeus, and I'm like,
Yep.
and I literally put on a fake
Yeah.
smile until it becomes
I can
real.
relate.
And I tell people when I go to a client, like sometimes you travel, you deal with delays, and a lot of people say, Anthony, how do you deal with delays so fast? And I'm like, I just focus on what I can control. But my clients don't care if I have a bad day.
Yeah, right.
They don't hire me just for the things I'm going to teach them, because honestly, the things I'm going to teach them, they already know. 85% of the stuff I teach, they already know. It's just a reminder. And they don't care if I've had a long day, if me and my wife fight, if my kid's been crying all night, whatever it may be.
Right.
They hire me mostly for my energy and for the way I kind of make their people feel.
Right.
So it's imperative that I get myself into that mindset. So usually my preparation for the day now can be anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, but as long as maybe 45 minutes to an hour, depending if I've done something to make my wife upset.
So exercises maybe later in the day.
It just depends. Yeah, it's not for matter of fact.
Okay.
Especially that my wife's pregnant now. I try to work around her schedule. So as long as I get it in somewhere, and this is why you see me run Zeus sometimes at 2:00 in the morning. I mean, I'll literally take Zeus to the beach at 2:00 in the morning. Don't have to.
Well, and you said something. You kept saying now. Now it's this. Now it's this. I think it's important for people to realize that's practice.
Yes.
That's a skill that you have learned. It takes time, and I think that's where a lot of people fall short when they're trying to make any changes in their life. Is maybe they read your sheet, they read through the 10 things.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I'm going to do this. So maybe they don't do it one day, and they have a horrible day, and they quit, and that's it, and it's over.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be Anthony in 1 week, and it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't
you don't
work
just
that way.
change your life on a dime like that. It takes practice, like you said. You literally force yourself to smile so that it becomes a habit and becomes something that's just part of your life.
100%.
Before you know it,
It's second
I'm
nature.
smiling all the time.
It's part of your lifestyle, and and the reason I did it is because I knew when I left, I knew I was going to see success for a while. I knew that I was going to struggle. I knew I was going to have obstacles to jump over, and I knew it was going to take me a long time. And most people give up right away. It's like when people make that resolution on January 1st to go work out, and then by January 17th they're done.
Right.
I didn't have that option. I didn't have the option of. I didn't want to go back to be a bartender. I didn't want to go back to be a restaurant manager. I love what I do, and I told myself I am not going to fail at this. I'm going to take however long it takes for me to get there. I am going to do it, and I'm not going to let somebody make me quit what I'm doing. It's just that it's a mindset, and you have to be strong-willed, and I think I'm pretty strong-willed, and it's something I still practice every day.
Yeah, and you could have very easily, if I'm reading between the lines here, adopted a victim mentality
Easily.
From something based on your childhood.
Yes,
or
previous experiences, absolutely.
Right, and that's horrible, man. I mean, it's like very prevalent.
Yeah.
Everywhere, obviously. It's really prevalent in the automotive industry, I think.
Yes.
It's like, who ordered all these white cars,
Yeah.
Who's doing the marketing here? Who's what? This guy's here to train us on how to answer a phone and what to say, what we have to learn scripts, or we have to learn word track, or, come on. So,
Wait, try not selling a car before you start. I didn't sell a car before I started doing this.
yeah, I know that. That's really interesting.
So now I sell them all the time.
Me too.
Right?
Yeah.
People act like selling.
I never sold anything before. No, that's not true. I
little
sold
bit.
one loan refi before I started working for Automax.
That's right.
But people act like selling cars is rocket science, and no disrespect
Right.
to the car industry.
No, it's not.
But it's harder to get a job as a bartender on Fridays than it is to get as a salesperson. And if you don't believe me, try.
Yeah. And there's probably more initial training.
As a bartender on Fridays, it takes you about a month to get hired. They give you about a book
No
like
kidding.
that thick.
Yep.
Yeah,
have
and
to
you
learn
got to
all
take
the
some
terrain.
serious
Yeah,
tests,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
But as a salesperson, you can be a convicted felon, as we all know. You can not have a high school diploma. You don't have to have a degree.
Right.
You don't even have to have a driver's license.
Right, a lot of
And
states.
honestly, if you're gonna go shop, if I was gonna go shop for a car, and let's say you were the salesperson and you didn't sell me that car, am I gonna stop looking for a car? No, I'm gonna go find somebody to buy a car from.
Right.
So now I make it a point, and I tell my dealers, I say, listen, it's not rocket science what I teach, but if you don't believe my process works, I challenge you this. And only one dealer took me up on it, and I've already proved it. Hire me for 7 days. I used to say 7 days or 30 days.
Right.
I can't do 30 because I'm married now and with a kid.
Right.
And I said, but bring me in for 7 days. I promise you I will not sit by the front door. I will sit inside your CRM tool, and I will lead your sales board. I promise you. If I don't, it's free. If I do, it's double.
That's strong. Nobody
Right?
else is saying that.
That's balls,
And
man.
that's why you've only had one person take you up on it.
No,
'Cause
one
all you have to do is say it, and they're
Right.
like, all right.
One dealership
Right.
took me up on it.
Yeah, that's balls.
I sold 12 cars in 1 week. The person behind me sold 4. And all I did was sat in e-leads, and all the salespeople was organizers, because this dealership that I went to, one of the problems I had was getting the salespeople to follow up with their calendars. And shocker, right?
Go figure.
Yeah, which is why it keeps me working. It's
Right.
frustrating, but it's a necessary evil for me.
Right. Guys, follow up.
Yeah.
Those of you listening, follow up.
So
Come
when the
on.
dealer called me, this dealer actually flew me down 13 months in a row to their dealership. And he said, all I want you to do is come back and sit inside the organizer and sit inside and dial their leads. So I literally called all the salespeople leads that they would refuse to call, and I sold 12 cars in a week when the person behind me was responsible for 4. And I said, "There's no reason. I'm not from this area.
Right.
There's no reason I should beat you right now."
Right.
And now I don't get questioned on what I do.
Right.
And I feel like I had something to prove. I mean, I was told, "Anthony, you should jump out of what you're doing for a little while, sell some cars, get some credibility." I'm like, it's not even about selling cars. It's you don't hold gross from the car by selling the car. It's the personality and the presentation of you and your product. This BMW dealership that I was just at with Mike Udell.
Right. Shout out
BMW,
to Mike.
yeah, shout out to Mike. He's somebody I love and respect and mentor and a friend.
Yeah, great guy.
But the BMWs at this store aren't different than the BMWs at any other store.
Right.
So what's different about you?
Right.
And that's how I kind of pride
And
myself.
aside from that, they're no different than the drinks that you're serving at the bar or the loan that you're getting to refinance. You're selling a process and a personality, and that's all you're selling. And it's adaptable to pretty much any industry out there.
I'm glad you said that, because the analogy I give when I'm on site is I say, listen, coming from the hospitality business, you know, if we were to go out for a drink after work, guys, after we do this, and we all like Grey Goose and Club Soda, we're not going to pick one restaurant because the Grey Goose is better at one restaurant, right?
Right.
We're picking the place because of the experience that comes along with that
Sure.
Grey Goose.
Right.
And, you know, when I was a waiter or a bartender, I can come up to your table one of two ways. I can say, tonight we have some lamb chops on special. Or I could say, tonight we have some Australian free-range lamb chops that are grilled to your liking, double cut, served with some garlic mashed potatoes, sauteed asparagus, and finished with a port wine demi-glaze reduction sauce.
I love it.
Which one are you going to order?
If
I'm
you're
going to pay more for the second.
If there's dealers listening to that, hire waitresses and waiters
Yes.
and bartenders.
Yes.
Definitely.
They make really good salespeople. My wife did it for 6 years, and she'd come home every night and tell me the stuff she dealt with on a nightly basis. And, you know, and here was my response to it. I said, well, I'd have told him to get the fuck out of the restaurant and been done. And that'd been my last night at the restaurant ever. And how she kept it positive and what she did, and then show me the big wad of cash that she made every single night.
Yeah.
And you're selling when you're a server every single night of your life.
Yep.
And if you don't make any money.
Correct.
I mean, it is the parallels between the two industries
Yeah.
are uncanny.
I was going to say, and part of it though is what I'm hearing. There is a process that needs to be followed.
Yes.
And by following the process, you have a better odds of being successful.
Yep.
But it's still infusing your personality within
Big
that
time.
process.
Big time. You know, I say, you know, every dealership should have a road to the sale, right?
Yes.
What I'm teaching is a road to the appointment. And what happens is you know, the national average for an appointment to show up is about 50%. And this is why I say anybody can set an appointment.
Yeah.
Just like anybody can sell a car. It takes a lot of skill to sell a lot of cars. It takes a lot of skill to get a lot of appointments to show up. And most people go into the conversation just looking to set the appointment. When I go into dealerships, I'm not looking to teach you how to set an appointment. When I get on the phone, I don't focus on the appointment, because setting the appointment isn't the only way to win. These people are shopping for 90 days inside your virtual showroom. They're looking at 7 to 10 other dealerships or websites.
Right.
And if I don't set the appointment, there's another way I can win. Let me make them stop shopping your competition. And the way I do that is to get you to love me by painting the picture of how I'm going to over-deliver on the customer experience,
Right.
which shouldn't be hard in this industry, because guess what? It's usually not a good experience.
Would you agree with this, based on what you just said, that a lot of that in our industry and in a BDC or internet department or sales department or whatever is the reason the emphasis is so much on the appointment is due to the comp plan, the pay plan
Yeah.
of a dealership? Would that be a big factor?
It's part of it. I think it's just the old mindset of just get them in.
Yeah, get them in.
Just get them in.
Right. Now, let's go further with that, because I got to go old school. I sold a crap load of cars. When
Yeah.
I sold cars, I was, you know, it's like everybody, you know, all you turn on anything, all old guys sold a lot of cars back
Yeah,
in the day,
of
right?
course.
It's like, but
and bench press 400 pounds.
right,
Walk to school.
right, yeah, walk to school. But I actually did not walk to school. Actually, I rode my horse to school a couple times.
That's pretty awesome.
I just brought it up.
There's a maximum security.
So, what were we talking about?
The old get them in. The old get them in.
Did you take a 5-hour energy today?
Yeah, I did. So, well, the flat tire kind of threw me off a little
yeah.
bit. So, excuse me. I don't know what percentage, but a large percentage of my cars were sold outside the dealership.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing, and I'm telling you, this is 2019. You have a client. He or she is at their job. I'm assuming, Mr. Client, that you're very busy. Your life is like a whirlwind, tornado. Let's do this. What time do you have lunch? 12 o'clock. Great. I'm going to bring out a car. Just can you take 10, 15 minutes, come outside the building and take a look at the car?
Yeah.
You'll do that? Absolutely, positively, no problem. Right, you're there. Now, is it likely that perhaps he or she is going to bring a coworker out along with them?
Absolutely.
Right? So now you got the buyer,
Yep.
quote unquote, air quotes, you got
Possible referral.
right, and peer pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you leave, they're not writing you a check.
Of course.
It's unlikely right then and there. Leave, and it's like, what are you going to do about that car? This guy brought the car out to see you. I would assume the service is going to be good. And so they start getting peer pressure. I don't see asses coming out of the seats at dealerships. Am I living in a
No, I don't either.
right?
I
It's
don't either.
get them in.
Get 'em in.
How about us go to them? Brian Benstock talks about frictionless selling. It's like I think they're picking up. Boy, I hope I got this wrong. I could be totally wrong here, Brian. If I am, excuse me. But I think they're picking up all their service customers' cars.
Yeah,
all
they
of
are.
them,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
All of them.
No kidding.
How could you? So if you're looking at a Honda at two different dealerships, take out everything else. Where are you going to buy your car?
You want us to pick him up my car?
Amen,
that's
brother.
And that's in Brooklyn too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's not a lot of fun.
It's insane. So wouldn't it then transfer? I mean, like when we're talking to BDCs and so forth, it's like, yeah, great. Set an appointment. And it'd be great if they show.
Yeah.
But like you said, that's a real skill.
Yeah.
Getting them to show is a huge sale.
Yes.
In
It's harder than
itself.
selling the car.
I think so.
Yeah, 100%.
Because of the choices.
Yes.
All they have to do is dial somebody else, man.
Car's a necessity. It's like water or a
Right.
phone. They need it. They're
Right.
going to get it with or without you. It just
Right.
depends
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be with you.
Right.
Right. So I'd like to see stores starting to let's get out there and go get them.
If enterprise,
Is this a society thing? Are we afraid to go out and show a car? You
Well,
think? I mean, does that have anything to do with it? With you
Possibly,
guys?
if you base it off customer behavior and of course the Amazon model and the other
well,
company
yeah.
that's trying to do their thing that I'm not going to talk about.
Right.
I think that's what a lot of people prefer.
Yeah.
Is not communicating face to face with other human beings. So
right.
maybe we're taking a cue off that subconsciously without even
Hmm.
realizing it and saying, well, I'm going to sit right here behind my computer and tell them to come in. If they don't come in, they don't come in.
Right.
I can say, yeah, if you go a little bit, we'll call them millennials, whatever. If you go a little bit below me to the
Right.
30-year-old, that generation, they're much more inclined to, do something over the phone, over the internet, over text
Absolutely.
message than getting in their car and, hey, how about I come to your
Right.
work and we can talk about it over there,
But that
I can
would
bring-
seem so convenient, and we're such a society that
That's a
we
good
want
point.
convenience.
Right.
Yeah, so if we're talking
that
convenience.
Bring it to, okay, I
Right.
can do all what you're
right.
suggesting, but what Craig's suggesting, you're bringing
Right.
the vehicle to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't have to come.
You're right.
Right.
That's what
You
everyone's
would-
really chasing is the convenience.
Right. When I was buying a new Mercedes every couple of years, right? I never walked in that dealership.
No.
They come to the office, sign me up. They come to home. It was like I literally never walked in the store for anything, sales or service. Never. And that was like, 10, 12 years ago. I stopped buying new cars or whatever it was. So
And see,
pretty
this,
interesting.
This is my concern, and I'm excited for when Brian does come in because I know he posted an article by a genius economist that teaches, I believe, at NYU about Amazon and the Amazon problem. And that's my real concern with Amazon, more than the monopoly stuff or whatever, is the lack of human interaction. It drives me nuts, man. Nobody wants to go and talk to people or be face-to-face with
Yeah.
people, and our entire industry is based on wanting to talk to people and wanting to communicate face-to-face to people.
Yeah.
And when people stop doing that, what happens next?
Yeah.
Where do we go from there?
Yeah. Well, the monopoly thing we probably should be a little bit concerned about.
I am.
Google, Amazon.
Of course.
I think I don't know, did I mention this last week. Ben Stock said on a video I saw that Bezos doesn't want to own your dealership.
No, of
he wants to
course.
own your industry.
In every other industry.
yeah, of course he does.
Right. And
Think about this though too. We live in a drive-through mentality world where you can now
Yeah.
have your fast food delivered to you.
Yeah, right.
Right.
It wasn't fast enough before.
Crazy. And I tell people, the average American drives their car 0.4% of their life. Think about this. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. 1,440 minutes in a day. How many minutes do you guys drive your car every day?
If I'm not coming here,
Yeah.
not many.
not much.
So think about that. It eats up a majority of your budget. It depreciates faster than you could pay it off.
Right.
Usually about between 10 and 15% when you drive off. 25% after year 1, 43% after year 3, 65% after year 5, and it doesn't stop depreciating until year 10. I have 2 godsons that are 22 years old that I had to beg to get their license.
Really?
When we were growing up, it was a sense of freedom. First thing. I had my car 6 months before I got my license.
Yeah.
Right? I was washing it every Sunday in my driveway and driving it down the street when my parents left. Right?
Real quick, first car, what was it?
1986 Chevy Cavalier hatchback.
86 Cavalier.
Hatchback. Which they're bringing back the Cavalier
That's
now.
a horrible car.
I loved it, though. I loved it.
A Cavalier.
Subaru.
Yep.
The GL.
But
you had a Subaru.
I had a Subaru.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me.
Not at all. It was a
That's
fantastic
totally
car.
in his Ernie's wheelhouse.
Yes.
A Subaru. He looks like a Subaru first time car.
I like the product as well.
Yeah.
Also
They're
Toyota.
awesome.
yeah.
I can't get over how you got to want to touch, feel, see, drive a car because of what you're talking about, the investment of it, how it I don't see how you'd want to buy something like that just over the internet without driving them, because I know different vehicles that I drive, they drive different. They don't feel the same. When you sit in them, it doesn't feel right to you, the features and so forth. So I got to believe that's still going to exist.
Well, what Anthony's talking about is finish your story, because Anthony was saying it's deeper than that, than just wanting to buy a car. It's that generation doesn't even care about owning a car that much.
I was going to say I was definitely going to agree, because that is going to happen.
Our demographic, we really can't comprehend the thought of cars driving themselves.
Right.
But keep in mind, it's hard, right?
It's going to happen, but it's hard.
Listen, they're giving it to us in bits and pieces. First, it was the lane assist, and it's the blind spot assist, and it's the parking assist. And I was just in a Tesla, and those things drive themselves. And Elon Musk is actually, he just put out there he's going to make 1 million cars. They're going to be able to make you at least $30,000 a year by leaving your house and going to do Uber. He's going to attack Uber and Lyft.
Yep.
But we can't comprehend that because that's not how we grew up. Times are changing. We remember when Henry Ford was coming out. I think at one time they said there were 300,000 horses in Manhattan. And they didn't know how the automobile was going to interact with the horses. And they never thought there was going to be a horseless buggy.
Right.
We never thought that we'd have these cell phones.
Right.
We never thought that FaceTime would become a prominent.
Yep.
Do you know when Jetsons were based in, what year they're based in? 2062.
2062? Is that right?
2062 is what they were based in. And now think about where the model's going.
Oh, and I've been bitching about the flying cars. I guess it's not time yet.
Jetsons still blew it on the flying cars.
Right.
Not if you still have it till 2062.
Back to the Future. Is it? Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah,
I guess it could still happen.
Yeah, I think it will.
Back to the Future blew it on a few things too.
They did for sure.
I want a hoverboard. I don't have a hoverboard.
Aren't there hoverboards? No.
Not like they had in the movie, like hover skateboards,
Oh, yeah.
And the stupid Cubs did win the World Series. They got that one. Remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I see where you're going with that, and the phones blow my mind because I'm not that old, but so when I first started getting cell phones was right about when they started getting kind of good.
Yeah.
But I think about the phone I first had when I was 22 years old, green screen, individual text messages, sitting here looking for the little button.
Yeah.
And that was only, 10, 12 years ago.
Right.
And they're, in most cases, for most people, more powerful than the computer that they work on at work every single day now, and you're carrying around in your pocket.
All right. Well, AI is a real thing. It's coming. It can go into a lot of different areas. Robots. I mean, it's happening. You go to YouTube and pull up some robot videos. It's like, whoa, man. There's ones that they can't push over now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because before it was like, okay, well,
just push it over.
Just push it over.
And that's
not
the thing.
so much.
And these are things that we know about.
Right.
But here's my biggest point of it all, though.
Or we're going to go conspiracy theories here. That'd be awesome. Let's go.
I watch a lot of Ancient Alien things.
All right, that's cool. Do you believe in aliens?
I do.
Do you?
I do. I listen.
How could you not?
How could you not? Exactly. Remember,
is to be so egotistical. It's beyond belief.
They've already found water on Mars.
It's just
right.
But
here's the biggest thing.
Go.
Think about this. If I was to ask you three gentlemen, if you were going to spend 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, up to $100,000 on anything besides a car, what kind of level of service would you expect?
Oh, that's a real good point.
Wait. How about this? You guys are a vendor just like myself.
Right.
What happens if one of your clients called you up and said, "What's your price?" and you said, "Your presence is your leverage"? Or do you think I can ever tell a dealer and they said, "Anthony, what's your price?" Mr. Dealer, just sign me up and I'll invoice you when I'm done.
Right.
Would I ever get hired?
No.
And now when people call up about a price, they already know the price of the car.
Correct.
They're just trying to chisel you a little bit because that's how the car industry groomed them.
Right.
When you go to the website, it's click here for best price, click here for internet quote.
Oh, we've trained our customers.
Yeah, we've trained our customers, and then we wonder why they ask for a price. But why wouldn't you give them a price? Would you ever go to Best Buy and pick up a TV off the rack and bring it to the counter without looking at the price tag?
How much is it?
Right?
Right.
Or how about this? Would you ever do an open house walkthrough without knowing the asking price?
Right.
No, but when people call up about a price, and I've just seen it all over the internet and Facebook yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't want to give you a price.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. I saw the
Be proud
post
of
you're
your
talking.
price.
I saw the post
Right?
you're talking
Be
about.
proud of your price.
Right.
Explain that we have highly intelligent software that prices our vehicles for us. It takes our inventory and compares it multiple times a day to our competitors. And if you have any leverage, Mr. Customer, it's no longer in the thousands, it's in the hundreds.
Boom.
But let me show you a couple factors on how we price our vehicles and how we could save you some money.
Right.
Right? I mean, if you want that fully loaded up Camry in red, but I have 17 in silver, or I have one on my lot for 90 days,
Right.
there's ways I can discount it.
Right.
But we don't explain them. People think price is an objection. It's an expectation. If once you change the lens that you look through from an objection to an expectation, your whole mindset changes.
Right.
And you got to paint the picture. And when they're on the phone, I try to teach people how to use their words as chess pieces. Right. If we already know why people are going to quote unquote object, then you should know how to make them feel comfortable. And this is why one of the biggest things I teach on the phone right away is if most people don't identify themselves. Right. If I was to call you up, Joe, from ABC Motors, and me and you had a 10-minute conversation about BMW, and I never told you what my job was, what would you assume it to be? If I'm calling you from a dealership,
Sales.
Right.
Sales, right?
Right, sales position.
Right? And how do you feel about a salesperson? It's like when you
Right.
go to the
Good.
mall. If you were at Macy's and I'm the sales guy and you're picking up a jacket and I say, can I help you? What are you going to tell me?
Right.
I'm
Just looking, man.
Yeah.
So I say, hey, listen, as I look up that information, Mr. Customer, just a heads up, I'm what you call a business development representative. Think as me as like your personal vehicle concierge. My job is to get you all the information that you're looking for online and to ensure that your next buying experience is your best buying experience, Mr. Customer.
Good.
Let me tell you what factors in the pricing and how we can save you some money. Right? Because 85% of people are not going to buy the exact car in the lead, which is why I don't get when people complain about TrueCar or Car Gurus. Or the biggest thing, Car Gurus, they switch their prices. Right. Oh, really? So you can make a flat off somebody and make a 5-pounder off somebody else on the same exact field, but that's okay.
Yeah. Bringing
hypocrisy, that's best.
Yeah, bringing customers into your dealership or giving you the opportunity to do so is never going to be a bad thing. So,
why does TrueCar exist? Because they don't trust us.
Right.
They don't trust the industry.
Right. Well, that's exactly right. Word tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So people are listening to this podcast right now or watching us or what have you, and they just heard you peel off a pitch.
That's practice.
Right. So we believe in them, right?
I believe in it a bazillion %.
Right. So here's my thought on it. See, maybe we can discuss this a little bit. When word tracks, scripts, whatever you want to call them, started with our parents, right? Say, mommy, 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 mommy,
Yes.
mommy, mommy, mommy. Right now, as we progress, as we get older, as we develop as human beings, we don't necessarily call our mothers mommy as we did when we were children.
Exactly.
Right, or wrong, right? Or daddy.
Even though I want
whatever
to.
the case might be. I know you call your mom mama, right?
That's awesome.
But it's not mommy.
Yeah.
Right.
So we take the pitch, the scripted word tracks that our parents gave us, and we develop those. We
Yes.
build on those. We always have those to fall back on in
Yes.
case we get screwed up and we forget something, right? Actually, the first word most kids say is the word no.
Yeah.
We hear the word no nearly 500,000 times by the time we're 8 years old.
Crazy.
In a lot of different ways. No, don't touch that. You'll get burnt. No, don't talk to strangers. But there's a lot of different kind of no's we hear too. No,
Agreed.
you're never going to amount to anything.
We get conditioned.
We have, right? So, and I think that being a universal truth that we're all, the way we develop as human beings, if we're mentally able to do that, is through those word tracks. So we always are to have that comfort to be able to come back to something when the customer goes in one of the invariable 10, 15, 20 different directions he or she might go, right? And then that takes me back to what you said about practicing. In dealerships, that is the hardest thing to do. I can remember running stores and Saturday morning we're going to have a walk around. I try to throw a ton of money at it.
They don't want to do it.
They don't want to do it. They don't want to practice. Why don't we want to practice? Why, in anything in our profession, outside of athletics. I mean, what other industries practice?
Not many.
Right? And why couldn't we or shouldn't we, and wouldn't our result be better? As an individual store or dealer group or whatever, we would just destroy the local competition, I would think, if we actually practiced. Because all this stuff is learned behavior. If you're not an asshole,
Yep.
right, and you treat people nice, you have good character.
Yeah.
You know your product.
Yep.
If you practiced what you give to people at a store, they would increase their income. Yes or no?
Absolutely. 100%.
Right, so why don't we do it? What's the block?
I don't know why
Where's it
not, but
coming from?
I say this all the time. I was successful in the auto industry because of the way our dealership did practice. And we're going to have the son, one of the Greenblatts, on our show. Well, the first dealership I worked at, I'd never sold cars before.
Yeah.
And it was an extensive initial training program that was like 2 weeks. And they went through everything. Before you really even were hired, you were hired, but maybe you weren't going to be hired if you didn't complete the 2 weeks successfly, let's say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So it was, when I say very thorough, and we role played and rehearsed every phase of an auto sale, every aspect of it. The customer objection. Okay. So how do you overcome that? From that point, though, every single day, we had an hour-long. Everybody.
Yeah.
There were 80 salespeople in that dealership.
Whoa.
We were all in a meeting, and we all had a role play something. We would stand. They'd make you stand up, and it was the feature benefit.
Yep.
For one.
Yeah.
Ernie, give us a feature benefit on whatever anti-lock brakes. In front of everyone, you stood up and you had to do it. So you'd look like a fool
If you didn't know
if you didn't have something intelligent to be able to relay.
Absolutely.
So because of that kind of peer pressure, that
love
entire
that.
group of people were razor sharp. We'd rehearse how to the sale that they'd have. The fine little print that they would read real fast at the end.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
We'd talk about that,
Oh.
and we were prepared for the customer response.
The objection.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
They practice stuff like that.
I've never heard of that.
We practiced. Roy Greenblatt. It was this GSM. It was his responsibility. I'm telling you, that's one of the reasons I became successful because it was what you're talking about. But every one of us in that dealership, unless they were kind of just brain dead and didn't care about their job, and they didn't make it. They didn't last. We're really good.
Yeah.
We're really, really good at what we did.
So did that come from him being the GSM, or did it come from decisions in the organization above him? Would you know, or
Above. Above.
So that was the standard that they were going to set for it. This is
Absolutely.
how we're going to run. It's my money, my building. Here's how it's going to happen,
Yes.
right?
Yep. From above.
And I think that's probably part of the problem. That probably doesn't happen that often.
Right.
And my answer before Ernie started talking was going to be that people don't want to take time out of their personal lives to practice something.
that's
It's like,
true.
well, I'm not on the clock. I'm not working.
Yeah.
I got 3 kids. I have a wife that doesn't want me to sit here. I got to be a dad. I got to do this when I come home. I don't have time to practice. So
Yeah.
it's like if it doesn't happen at work,
It doesn't
I'm
happen.
not going to do it. But I think that goes further back to some of the stuff that you talked about
Yes.
changing your mindset. And it happens in the first half an hour. It happens in the first hour of when you wake up. It happens, in the first month when you decide you're going to change your life. You're either going to go out there and kick ass and be a successful person, or you're not. It doesn't matter what you're doing. And practice is part of that, for sure.
Agreed.
But there's a million other things that go along with that.
Yes.
Just your mindset, that we talk about the physical fitness. I mean, you could practice something all you want. If you're a shitty person with a shitty attitude who goes around blaming other people for problems, I don't care if you know the process back and forth. You're still going to suck at
Agreed.
it.
That's true.
You're not going to win.
Yeah, it's not. How's the saying go? Practice makes perfect.
Right.
Practice makes permanence. Perfect practice makes perfect.
I tell people what you do every day is more important than what you do once in a while. And
Say that
great.
again?
That's a great one.
all right,
Say that again. What'd you
what
say?
you do every day is
Yeah.
more important than what you do once in a while. And the way
There
I
you go.
kind of,
Write that down, people.
the way I kind of changed my life, especially when I first came into the industry, and you remember when I first came in.
Yeah.
I used to use my car ride back and forth that I had for an hour and 45 minutes to master my skills. I would literally read statistics into my voice recorder. I would read scripts, and I would listen to myself and practice on my hour and 45-minute drive back and forth to work. And I even tell clients now, I don't care if you got 10 or 15 minutes or a 5-minute drive to work, put down your phone, use that time to practice your skill set. So when you do go home, you don't have to do it when you get home, but you don't become successful while you're at work. You become successful from what you do after work.
Absolutely.
Right? And I tell people word tracks and scripts, especially in sales, are the most important thing. And I have other trainers tell me they're not. And I said, do me a favor.
Structure.
Here's the thing about scripts. If Tom Cruise or Angelina Jolie, do they sound like they're on a script?
No, of course
Right?
not.
No. Why? Because they do 3 things. And I tell people you got to do the same 3 things with what I teach you. Number 1, you got to memorize them. I have exercises that I do with my clients that can help them memorize it. Right? I usually can get them to memorize an entire phone script, probably within an hour period, through a certain exercise that I do. And then you have to internalize it. And I kind of use this as an example at Jim Ziegler's Internet Battle Plan. I did a presentation for him, I think it was two shows ago. And I had everybody, when they came back in, I was the lead off after lunch. And I literally had an American flag on the screen. And it was a little crazy because of the times that were going on with everything in football. But literally, I made people stand up, and I said, follow my lead. And I made people say the Pledge of Allegiance. And I was like, please, everybody be standing up behind me. Please, right? That's what I'm thinking, right? So everybody says it, and I turn around, and I say, when was the last time you said the Pledge of Allegiance? And they said, in school. And I said, okay, but why can you still say it today? It's because you said it every single day. And if you don't think that word tracks and scripts are important in sales, try to set me an appointment or sell me a car without talking. You can't do it. So you need to use your words as chess pieces, and you need to practice because, do we all agree that we can tell whether somebody's tone is genuine or not?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Well, in most cases.
For most cases,
unless
unless you're a real slickster.
Right. Right. Yeah, that'd be psychotic.
So I tell them you got to memorize it. You got to internalize it like it's your ABCs or the favorite song that you can sing from when you were 6. And then you got to personalize it. Your personality's got to come out of it.
Absolutely.
Right? And once you do those 3 things, you're never going to say the script word for word, verbatim. Right. I even give dealerships 2 choices now. When I walk in, I said, here's my phone process. And if you don't like it, I want you to rewrite it tonight and bring it back to me tomorrow. As long as you ask the questions that are within my process, you can say anything that you want as long as you're asking the questions, because I like to – not everybody likes to get information over the phone. Don't ask about the down payment. Don't talk about their trade-in. Don't ask them about how much money they want to put down. Listen, if I have somebody that's unrealistic that wants to put nothing down and wants a $300 car payment, I want to know they're unrealistic before they get here, so I know how to engage them when they get here.
Right.
It's doing reconnaissance.
Right.
I'm trying to get as much money.
Don't have to tell them no over the phone.
Exactly. You don't have to tell them no, but I'm going to be realistic. I want to know all the information about them.
Yeah.
How much you want to put down? Do you have a trade-in?
Right.
In your opinion, how much is it worth? What are you looking for your monthly budget to be? Are you going to use this vehicle mostly for work? I ask that question because I'm focused on building rapport. What do you do for work? Oh, you're a nurse. Oh, my wife's a nurse. No matter what their answer is for what they do for work, I'm looking for somebody inside my network that does
Absolutely.
the same thing.
Right. And that comes back to the convenience thing that we were talking about, where if we don't get it together, we're going to get our ass kicked. People don't like wasting time at car dealerships.
That's right,
you can
Joe.
talk about we need the appointment. The reason there's nice people working at car dealerships now. We've kind of fixed a lot of that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a friendly experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't want to come in and had expectations to buy a car, and then it's not even close.
Yeah.
And you just wasted my Saturday. This is my day off, and I'm never going to come here again, and I might never come to a dealership to buy a car.
Exactly.
That's a big thing. The handoff from the initial phone call or interaction, whether it be via email, text, or voice, from that person, what you just said, to the quote air quotes salesperson, salesperson. I mean, how many deals get destroyed there?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's because, and you said something earlier, they still want to come in, they still want to drive the car.
Yeah, of course
man.
they do.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I mean, they want to drive the
Cars are
car.
nice.
Who doesn't?
Cars are
Right.
fun.
When we sold cars, one of the hardest things to do was to get them in the car.
Yeah.
Get them into. That's why we came up with the quote unquote kidnap technique. Here, let me show you how the shift lock works. Right? Go ahead, try to put it in gear. Right? And I got my until I put my foot on the brake, and we have the people make the demo drive happen by tricking them.
Yeah.
Basically. So, but that was a big deal. I mean, because all the stats say so. If you're only going to drive demo, back in the day, 50-60% of the people, you're going to suck. Your closing ratio is going to be 12-15%. You get them in a car, it goes to 25-30% or whatever. It doesn't matter. But today, and I'm not sure. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think about the stats of 1.7 visits or 1.4. I personally don't believe it. I think it's a vendor thing to pitch, but I could be wrong. But they're coming there for one reason, and that's to drive the car.
Yeah.
Right? And then if we piss them off, if we're a jerk off when they come in, we're done.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to the other 0.7 or whatever.
Do you remember when I mentioned Mike Udell?
Yeah.
We were both at a conference together, me and you. and we watched him speak one time, and it's on
Yes.
YouTube still.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget what he said. And as a matter of fact, I just reminded him when I was just visiting with him in California. The virtual showroom is where it's at. If you're spending money in your brick and mortar and not investing in the virtual showroom, you're going to lose, because the brick and mortar is only a place for an experience and customer retention. That's all it's for.
Right.
And you got to be in the virtual showroom. Why am I going to wait for somebody to show up when I could talk to them before they even get there?
Absolutely.
And it's just experiences.
Yeah, use the technology instead of being afraid of it. It's there to improve convenience and improve the customer experience, and that's it. It's not going to move the car. It's not going to do the test drive. So, use it. Make it a
but it does too, though. I mean, there are dealers that sell almost all their vehicles exclusively.
I just meant, and again, I'm not plugging them. I'm not. We're not going to talk about them. But the Amazon model is what I mean. It's not going to do all that stuff for you.
No, it can't.
Right.
Well, guys, if we had a reservation for dinner tonight after here, and we showed up to the restaurant and our table wasn't ready and the server wasn't there, how would we feel about that?
Move over a little to the mic there.
If we had a reservation tonight and the server wasn't ready or the table wasn't ready when we got there, it would make us feel a certain way.
Oh, yeah. It'd
No other
it'd be
industry
a
gets away
problem.
with that,
Right? So when and I use this analogy from Joe Calla. I remember Joe Calla saying this when we worked together. It's like a relay race. The BDC takes the baton first. We paint the picture to what's going to happen when you get here. And then we hand that baton off to the salesperson. If the vehicle isn't ready, if it doesn't have a hang tag saying VIP Internet Customer Mr. Johnson,
Love it.
and the salesperson doesn't perpetuate the message when they get there, we drop the baton, we lose the race. Right? So we just got to make sure that we're, most salespeople look at this BDC as a threat, as like, oh my God, they're trying to steal my deal. As a matter of fact, I just had somebody on my social media today saying, oh, I'm so happy that we're getting rid of our BDC concierge team and the leads are going back to the salespeople. I'm like, oh my God. I love this person. I have tremendous respect for this person, but I'm like, why would you ever do that? Number one, it's hard, and I've been in over 300 rooftops, right, in a very short amount of time. Number one, you can't even get the average salesperson to use a CRM effectively. Never mind, pick up a phone and follow up with a lead longer than a week. The average dealership has a selling cycle of 7 to 14 days, meaning they're only going to close leads within the first 2 weeks, then give up. They market dead or market lost.
Right.
You can close 25% of your leads after 90 days if you have a really effective follow-up process.
Right. Salesperson typically is not going to do that.
No.
An average.
And then who's going to follow up with the salesperson's leads while they're actually doing the demonstration and selling the car?
Right.
So when they start to sell these cars, let's say they set themselves 3 appointments
Great
today.
point.
Who's going to follow up their leads when they're selling
time.
cars? There's no time.
Right.
It's either you're going to play checkers or you're going to play chess in this game. One of the two.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely have to make a decision on that.
Yeah, and they said, well, the BDC, they're setting fake appointments and they're not making they're making fake phone calls. Well, then that falls on the BDC manager.
Right. And in my opinion, a lot of time it goes right back to the comp plan. What's their focus? Where are they throwing the money at?
Exactly.
Because if I'm a BDC rep and I'm getting paid X amount of dollars per appointment, I'm going to task the hell out of that thing,
Absolutely.
man. I'm going to give my $5 or whatever it is.
I say, comp them on the show. You can give them a little bit for the sale, but focus it on the show, because their only focus is to take that name, number, and email address that we don't even know are real and create it into foot traffic.
Right.
Once you get them into the dealership, your job is done. And when a salesperson complains about, oh my God, TrueCar lead, oh my God, this kind of lead. When you have 2 ups walking in the door, can you tell which one's a TrueCar and which one's a Car Gurus? No, you can't. So let's just get them here, and let's realize that we're on the same team.
Right.
And my biggest thing, I said, listen, if salespeople actually pay for the leads, they would actually handle them a lot differently.
That's interesting.
Right?
I've never heard someone say that before. That's kind of interesting.
Right? You pay for the leads, you'll handle them differently. I promise you will, because they cost a lot of money.
There would be a lot less fibbing going on. Mm-hmm. Speaking of fibbing.
Is it that time?
It's time for Fabulous
Is it that
Fibs.
time?
Fabulous Fibs.
The award-winning game show.
Fabulous Fibs. Fabulous Fibs.
Fabulous Fibs.
Have we mentioned Tony Luke and they provide the food?
Let's talk about our food. Tony Luke's is now a quasi-sponsor of the Recruiter podcast. And my friend Matt Legowski, I don't know if Matt put a comment on Facebook. He wanted the bag tally today. Kind of weak today, Matt. I just went 4 cheesesteaks, 3 of them with, 1 of them without. Last week was the blowout. We went breakfast sandwiches. I did the roast pork and the chicken cutlet. And
awesome.
it was a mess last week.
Yeah. Easy, good.
Everyone will notice I'm not eating one today.
Anthony, did you eat?
I am.
Okay.
Anthony's getting down. The guests always eat one, but
Right.
summer's right around the corner, so I'm working on the dad abs. So
There we go.
I figure if I ate 2 Tony Luke cheesesteaks every single week, it would be a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
So
would be.
I'm gonna have to pace myself.
Yeah. Well, the bread alone.
The bread is
With
phenomenal.
love bread.
the diet I've been on, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, but yeah, Tony Luke's, the original Oregon Ave, is
Tony Luke's.
good.
Good job,
as it
Tony
gets in
Luke's. I
Philadelphia.
appreciate
Good
it.
job.
It's delicious.
All right, Mr. Anthony Alagona.
Yes, sir.
It's time
So
for Fabulous
so the way
Fibs.
this works on Fabulous Fibs is I'm going to read off 3 statements.
Okay.
And only one of these statements is fact.
Okay.
You have to tell me which one is true.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first TV commercial ever aired July 4th, 1941, before a football game between the Packers and the Bears. That is statement number 1.
Okay.
And I'll go back through these for you. Our very own Craig Lockhart here played minor league baseball for a season after he graduated high school. Statement number 3. North Dakota currently has the lowest state unemployment at 1.3%. So, again, those are first TV commercial was July 1st, 1941, before a football game between the Packers and the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Craig Lockhart played minor league baseball after high school. North Dakota has the lowest state unemployment at 1.3%. Which one is true?
I'm going to say which one is true. Oh, so 2 of them are false?
2 of them
Yes.
are bold-faced lies.
I say I would have to guess. Craig played baseball.
Ding, 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 ding. He got it.
I think I remember you
Very
having a conversation
nice.
with you.
Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, we got to be careful
That
on
is
who we
some
have on.
talent.
We try to squeeze one
And you look
question
like a
in.
baseball player.
We try to squeeze one question in about us
Mm-hmm.
each time, but yeah, we got to be careful when it's somebody that we know well.
That's
They're
pretty
like, yeah, I
interesting.
already knew that. So it's just going back through them. The first TV commercial ever was for Boulevard Watch. It was actually before a Brooklyn Dodgers, Philadelphia Phillies baseball game.
Oh, nice.
1941. And North Dakota does have the current lowest state unemployment, but it's 2.3%.
Yeah, they got big oil going on right now, don't they?
Yeah.
Something
Wow,
like that.
They do.
dude.
Mhm.
That's
2.3%.
That's low.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah. So my last minor league baseball game. So
What position?
first base.
Okay, I was going to say you look like a first or a third baseman.
Yeah, it was like he's tall and put him at first.
Yeah, really?
So, and I used to be taller. I shrunk the last few years. So, I'm hitting like we were at Parkside Stadium, and I was hitting, I don't know, 280, 285 or
Yeah.
something.
That's good, though.
Yeah, it was okay.
It's never good enough for you.
Yeah, I mean,
understand.
like
You're competitive.
there were a lot of kids. Because this was from up to mid 20s.
Yeah.
I was at 18. So there were some guys hitting. There were a lot of guys over 400.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I was just getting my swing back a little bit, and I don't know, we're blowing them out. We're up, 8-9 runs, and there was this kid pitching for the other team. They called him Lizard. This kid had an actual slider. It was freakish.
Really?
And I don't know why, but they left him in the whole game, and he was really a good pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
But we were up at the time that this happened, probably 7 or 8 runs, and I'm either 2 for 3 or 3 for 4.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I've got my. That's Nick.
I
Let's
figured.
take it.
Nick.
You guys are still up in the air.
Yeah, Nick.
Yeah,
on.
well,
Dead
I
air.
saw the video you did trying to group people together to try to get us kicked off the air, and how's that going? That didn't work out too well for you yet. What do you think?
Well, Craig, little trouble getting to the studio this morning, Craig?
It was a challenge. Yeah, we had a flat tire. I had a flat tire, and then the spare was flat. So
Yeah, I'm well aware of both of those things because, Craig,
yeah,
I got friends in low places.
yes, you do. Yes,
Yeah,
you do.
That was
So what do you think about our guest today and the information that we're putting out there so far today, Nick?
So here's the thing. First of all, I thought this guy was a career coach, and I was hoping that he was coming on there, to send you guys away from ruining my car business. He's going to give you guys some career advice. Like Joe could be, a personal trainer for people with low expectations. And, I think Ernie would be a great librarian.
Great librarian.
I actually agree with you for once, Nick. I think Ernie would be an exceptional librarian.
So
Yeah.
that would be my career advice. But this guy now, it turns out this guy's he's a sales trainer.
Right.
And he's doing the same thing you're trying to do. He ruined my business.
Right. How so, Nick?
All these, well, you guys got all these scripts and all this training, and then dealers, they flood the floor with all these green peas, and I'm like Noah building an ark trying to save myself and my business.
Right. So.
Yeah, and so you want to know what kind of training I got, Craig?
I do. Yes.
Yeah. You remember Harry Carey, the Cubs announcer?
I do.
Yeah. Well, he used to say, and remember, Sosa spelled backwards is ASOS. Right?
Right.
He used to say that. Harry used to say that. Well, that's the training I got. I got ASOS training, which was when the manager said to me, "All right," and that was Right Side Ricky. He was my first
Right
manager.
Side
Right
Ricky.
Side Ricky.
Right.
Because he always put Right Side Book into trades. It was nuts. Anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are not going to get that reference, but I got that.
That's okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Nick.
There's a lot of people. Anyway, I got ASOS training, which is all right, sink or swim.
Right, sink or swim. I love it.
All right, sink or swim. ASOS.
The white pages.
ASOS.
Right.
Sosa spelled back.
Sosa spelled backwards. Got it. That's a writer downer. I will write that down, actually.
I'd appreciate you guys. Yeah. I should write that down too. That's actually pretty good.
I should write that down too.
Sorry.
No problem. What? So, Nick, we were right. I was right in the middle of telling a story, but so you got scripts when you were selling cars, right? I mean, like when you first started, you got scripts and word tracks, right? Or no?
Yeah, well, they tried to get me to do that stuff, but here's the thing: all those scripts, those are for people who can't think on their feet, Craig.
Gotcha.
I'm a guy that's in the moment.
Right.
I'm moving. I'm shaking.
I'm moving and shaking.
I got no time for that kind of stuff.
Right. So kind of more shoot from the hip and just, whatever comes up, you handle it as it comes, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way you can stay consistently at, 6, 7, 8 cars a month, right? Effectively, I would assume, right?
Well, yeah, on the good month, sure.
Right. All you need is a couple laydowns, Nick, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. But now you got all these green peas with word track. You guys, man, you're killing me. But I take my time and I try. I do my best to help these guys out.
Right, I'm sure.
When they come out of your training,
Right.
I try and help them out of the business.
Right. Yeah, competition is not good. Yeah, you slice that pie up, that's not good for anybody, right, Nick?
That's exact. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
That's exactly right.
All right, Nick, hey, look, I got to go. Always appreciate you calling in. We got a show later this afternoon. If you can, you're welcome to give us a buzz back.
Yeah, if I'm not too busy.
All right, dude.
Probably. I might.
All right, well, taking that.
Hey, Craig.
Yeah.
Before I go,
Yeah.
can I ask you a favor, though?
Yeah, of course.
Hey, could you borrow me $50 till payday?
Absolutely.
Finance didn't get my deals all bought and stuff, so.
I know. It's,
appreciate it.
yeah, not a problem, dude. Anything you need. I'm your man.
All right.
All right, pal. Peace.
All right. I'll talk to you later if you're still on the air.
All right, man.
Always a slice.
That's awesome.
So.
Baseball.
Baseball.
So
Average.
this is horrible, man. I don't even I'm not sure even why I'm telling this story. So at any rate, I'm lacing the ball all over the field.
Yeah.
And I mean, I could literally, well, no, that's a lie. but almost in the zone where I could see the stitches on the ball. I mean, it's like
You're
I know.
focusing in. Yeah.
Like I'm just hitting the screw. And so I don't know, it's seventh inning or whatever. I'm up for I think it was a fourth at bat. And manager comes over, he's going to send a pinch hitter for me. I said, no, dude, it's like, we're up by 8 runs. You've had 3 hits. I was either 2 for 3, 3 for 4, I forget what it was. They were all just laced. I said, no, man, I got my stroke back. I need one more at bat.
Yeah.
No, go sit down. No, I'm going to go hit.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Yes, I am. With the manager.
Yeah.
And we're in between the on-deck circle and home plate having this discussion.
Wow.
And, of course, he's going to win this discussion, right? I take off my hat like a little freaking baby. I take off my hat, throw it on the ground, take off my jersey, throw it on the ground. My mother, God rest her souls, in the stands watching her big freaking baby son act like an asshole in front of 1,000 people or whatever it was. And I storm my weak ass off over to the car. I was like, I'll show you. I quit.
Exactly. I'm done.
It's like that was my last game. And it was like, okay, well, that voids that kind of agreement, man. So it was done.
Automax, here I come.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Guess I better sell cars.
Right.
What the hell else can I do?
Right, I can always sell cars.
Isn't that what we all do? Circumstance, right?
Pretty much.
Right?
Pretty much. All got into what we're doing by weird situations, man.
Misfits for sure.
I definitely
No
didn't choose
question
it.
about it.
So you win this beautiful Porsche 918 Spider.
That is awesome.
But
Porsche.
you can go double or nothing on a bonus question that pertains to Anthony Alagona's personal likes and preferences.
I'll double or nothing. I'm going to bet on, even though I collect cars for AAA, I'm going to double it up.
I was going to say, you're giving.
All right. So you're a New York Yankees fan,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I knew that. So
Love them.
the Yankees. This is a good one. The Yankees have obviously the highest number of retired jerseys of any baseball team, probably any professional sports team. It's probably them and the Celtics of 21, and a lot of people probably know the single digits or the elite of the elites. You get a single digit retired Yankees jersey, you're not just one of the best baseball players of all time. You're just one of the best athletes of all time.
Agreed.
So there's 10 of them.
Yep.
As it stands right now, I need you to name 5 of those 10 single digit New York Yankee retired jersey numbers. Don't need the number, but I need to know 5 of the 10.
Of the players.
Ruth. Mantle. Gehrig. Who's the other one? I want to say.
I should have made it harder.
Jeter, Ruth, Gehrig, Mantle, and I'm going to say. Who's the other single digit? Shit. He couldn't say 4. Had to say 5.
Can I give him an obtruse
Yeah.
hint?
No.
Huh?
No, there's no hints. You did this
no.
last week.
All right. Okay.
Wait.
I won't.
Communist.
Jeter. I'm going to guess Munson.
No.
Good guess.
You had a few to choose from. Could have been Billy Martin's.
Oh,
Billy Martin's one of them.
Billy
He's number
Martin,
one.
too.
But I mean, it's
Boo-Boo Bear.
after
Boo-Boo.
Billy Martin, it's everybody.
Who is it?
Yogi Berra,
Number
Joe
8.
Damn, why didn't I see
DiMaggio,
Yogi?
Roger
say
Maris,
Joe.
Phil Rizzuto, Joe Torre. You're getting
Son
the
of a
car
gun.
anyway.
I like it. That's
Yeah.
for AAA. I appreciate it.
That's
yeah,
right.
no
He
problem.
He loves his
man.
cars.
You
I was
got
crazy.
it.
I was actually at David Wells' perfect game.
That's
my claim.
Really?
Oh, really?
I was.
Ah, that's cool.
No way.
That was
That's
unbelievable.
awesome.
My ex-girlfriend actually surprised me with the tickets, and then when we broke up, I gave her ticket stub, and I kept mine.
Very cool.
Yeah, at least I gave her her ticket stub back, right?
Yeah.
I said, here, you bought the ticket, you deserve to have it. It was Beanie Baby Day. Never forget it.
How many? Here, let's go to Google. That's rare.
Wasn't he drunk that day? Is it the
That's what
story?
they say.
Or hungover, rather? Not
I
drunk.
say he was hungover, yeah.
Right.
Hungover.
He was hungover most of the time, supposedly.
Excuse me.
That's rare. There's not many perfect games. Let's ask Google how many perfect games there have been all time.
Let's do that. Wow.
Hey, Google,
Wait.
how many all-time Major League Baseball perfect games have been thrown? I don't think she's on. I think I turned her off.
I'm guessing.
Sorry, Brittany. Hold on.
All time?
Yeah. What,
17.
Perfect game.
20?
It's like 18 or 19.
I
or
say
something
17.
like that. It's somewhere
I'm
in
at
there.
20.
Hey Google, how many perfect games have been thrown in Major League Baseball? No, technology.
Actually, 17 is how many pitchers pitched to 3,000 strikeouts.
Hey Google, how many
Sabathia just
perfect
said.
Yeah, he
games
was the
have been
17th.
thrown in Major League Baseball? Technology, guys.
All right, it's good until it's not good.
Isn't it fewer more recently, right? Perfect games or
There,
I
think I got it.
Who's
Hey
the
Google,
who's the last
how
one to
many
throw
Major
perfect?
League Baseball perfect games have been thrown? Oh, I hate you.
Always on air.
Come on, Brittany. Don't do this to us.
I'll take a bite while you ask.
She recorded our
Let me-
whole
let me
show
test
last
it.
week.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
spied on us last. Let me check the temperature. Hey Google, what's the temperature?
The current temperature in Eddington is 70.
Okay, good enough. Hey Google, how many perfect games have been thrown in Major League Baseball?
23. Here's a summary from the website en.wikipedia.org.
Well, let's hear it.
Over the 140 years of Major League Baseball history, there have been 23 official perfect games by the current definition. To read more, look for the link in your Google Home app.
That's insane.
That is
Absolutely
insane.
insane.
What's the
And I
math
mean,
on that?
Well, and you have to
Wow.
factor in the dead ball era. You factor in back in the day when, Cy Young's winning 30 games a year, and
Right.
it's still only 23.
Right?
Unbelievable.
My buddy was at Mike Musina's shot at it when it got broken up with 2 outs in the 9th in Boston from Carl Everett.
How weird is how often that happens?
Right?
No
Yeah,
hitters
yeah,
in
yeah.
perfect games.
And my buddy went, and I was working at a restaurant at the time, and we were like, "Oh my God, my buddy's there!" He never actually went into the game. He sat outside in the bar and got drunk.
no way.
So it got broke up. I was like, "Thank God!" When I found out, I'm like, "Thank God it was broken up, bro," because that would have been something you could have never lived with.
Oh
Right.
no, you
Right?
wouldn't be able to tell that story, man.
Right?
You'd
I
you'd
remember
have to
watching it on
disavow
TV.
any knowledge.
Carl Everett, 3-2 pitch.
Was that what it was?
Carl Everett.
Carl Everett broke it up.
forgot
2
about
outs in the
Carl
9th, 3-2.
It's
If
amazing.
anybody deserved one, Musina did.
You know how many games Cy Young won? You know that? I know the number. You guys
many?
know that? 511. 511 games.
Yeah, it's
How many
stupid.
strikeouts does Nolan Ryan have?
There's
Jeez, I don't know, 4,700 or 45,000
Over 5,000.
is it?
Jeff-
You know,
Jeff
CC
Ross.
Sabathia just went
yeah,
over
he just got
2,000.
his. Jeff Ross does a stand-up bit where he's making fun of that, and he goes, "What were they giving for wins back then? You knocked down 3 milk bottles at a festival,
Right?
I mean, seriously, that's insane."
That's a good joke.
It's funny because it doesn't ruin baseball, but baseball's so big about their stats, and everyone bitches about the steroid era and how
Right.
those records are tainted and
Yeah.
never get touched.
Right.
You're never going to touch any of the pitching records. They're
No
a
way.
joke.
No way.
Hear
You
about
won't even
this?
get close.
I saw the stat the other day, and I didn't even believe it when it came out. Strasburg is the fastest pitcher to 1,500 strikeouts.
Really?
and
Think
they've held him back.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Think
Yeah,
about he's
yeah.
been hurt and he's
Yep.
been held back. Think about that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
I just saw that stat the other. I would have never believed it.
Me neither.
If I didn't hear it.
I don't know who would be.
Faster, but still.
Yeah.
I just thought he was out too many games and
Yeah, missed an
he's
entire
been held
season.
back.
1,500's a lot.
We could sit here and talk pitching in baseball.
Sorry, guys.
It's
Oh,
probably
we
an
love baseball.
hour.
man.
Sorry, everybody.
Baseball's just beautiful. I mean, how did they
Pitching's
figure it
beautiful.
out? 60 feet, 6 inches away from home plate would just be perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? 90 feet between base paths would just be perfect.
Right. Well, and
The
then
infields would all be identical, yet all the outfields are
Be
completely
you
different.
get
Yeah.
to do whatever you want. And then the funkiness of it, the little quirks, it's the only sport where you don't score with the ball.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't have the ball or put the ball into a receptacle to actually
Never thought about
score
that.
a
That's
point.
correct.
It's not timed. It's wild.
Right. Can go on
Wow.
for literally forever.
I
Except
could
now they're beginning to
oh, the
come up with
clock
time.
Yeah.
timing,
All right, that's
batter's box
bullshit.
timing.
Yep.
That's bullshit.
How many times you can visit the mound?
Right.
That's rough.
Right. There. Who was the old Indians manager, the human rain delay?
Mike Hargrove. Yeah.
Hargrove. Yeah.
Right. It would take him. Until he had everything right, he's not getting in that, putting that second foot in the batter's box.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is a beautiful game.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have over 200,000 baseball cards.
He sounds like me. I have a huge collection. My
I
parents.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
No
And
way.
the sad thing is growing up, my parents owned a convenience store and a gas station. Well, my stepfather owned a gas station that was a garage, and then he had to convert it into a convenience store.
Oh, so you
and
got
that
all
was
the
probably about
wax packs.
wax packs. But then when they started doing their orders, I would have my money that I made, and I would make them order extra boxes. So I have
Right.
literally cases of boxes of cards that are even opened out of their packs
Me
yet.
too, dude.
But my prize collection that I had, one of my neighbors when I went to the army, my neighbor across the street came across. They had 2 kids, and the kid came across, and from what my sister told me, came over with his price guide, and literally picked out all my good cards out of my collection.
No way.
And I didn't find out until after I was an adult, and my mother refused to let me ask for them back.
Oh, Mom.
I was so
Mom.
torn up about
Mom.
it. Obviously, I'm still a little torn up.
Yeah. Still
Still a little torn up about it. And he knows who he is, so if you listen to him, give him back.
Right.
Stealing-
Get back the cards,
stealing
dude.
cards.
Don't be an asshole.
Stealing cards.
He was
whether-
like 8, though. I think he was like 8 or 9 at
That's
the time.
all right.
I know.
What an
He's
asshole.
an adult now, though.
I
He's
did
an
it back.
8-year-old asshole.
I did some horrible things with baseball cards back in the day. I
Oh.
think back. I mean, just fleecing kids in trades and
Yeah.
stuff.
Put him in your
Just-
tires.
Yeah.
I can see you doing that, son.
Oh, I
Really killing somebody in a baseball
I
card
did,
trade.
and I literally I could say the name right now and the card that it was, and I have it right in my head, and I feel
Yeah.
horrible
I
about
have a
it.
BJ Surhoff card that has asshole written at the bottom of the bat.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Remember air cards? Air cards used to be cool.
Yes.
I don't do air cards. Everything's too computer generated and meticulous now. We'll never see another air card ever again.
You got to hold on to them.
Yeah,
forever,
I
too.
guess not. But they were a thing.
Yeah. There
I
was a ton
think
of
I have a couple.
reverse images and things like that.
I
You
love
mentioned Beanie Babies. I haven't heard Beanie Babies.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
God.
David Wells'
That's
perfect game.
right.
They gave you a Beanie Baby.
Are you serious?
right.
Yeah, it was Beanie Baby Day. And I
Wow.
remember someone offered me money for my ticket stub and my Beanie Baby walking out. And I was like, no way
Really?
we'll ever get this.
Can you imagine going all in on Beanie Babies and investing in those?
Right.
These are always going to be worth money.
Crazy.
Oh, some of them probably are.
Some are, and I think only maybe 50, 70 years from now.
Yeah, you
When
never
you're one of
know.
the fewer
Unopened. You know, it's
Exactly.
all about being
A
unopened.
mint condition David Wells Beanie Baby.
Right?
that one might be worth something. You went big on the steroid era. That's your problem. You should see his
Unbelievable.
basement. It's like 2 rows of Bonds,
Yeah.
2 rows of McGuire.
That's how I was, too.
Oh, I've got graded Bonds cards. Like knocked out,
Yeah.
McGuire, like
Yeah.
you said, and so forth. But I don't know. They'll let him in. They got to let him in.
Sooner or later.
Bonds has to be in the
Do
Hall
they?
of Fame.
You only get so many chances at the ballot, though, and then you're off forever.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
not like he can just hang around for a while and be punished. At a certain point, you can't even be voted for anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so like football though, the writer you can get written in.
Football's like,
Forever.
did you make the Pro Bowl? Here you go.
But baseball, you say
seems
there,
like
there
it.
is a definite. If you don't get in on the certain,
Yeah.
Well, here's how it is. If you fall under a certain percentage of votes, you're off the ballot.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to-
Is there a veterans committee?
Yeah, that's
though?
what I
like
thought.
late or after they pass, after they died. 'Cause I know there is in football.
No, it's not like that.
No.
It's just
You're off.
everybody.
Bond's gonna be
Everybody
able to
all
have steroids,
time.
too.
That's
It's if you get a certain number of years, it's not like what you're saying in football is they put 2 old timers in,
Right.
1 coach or executive, and then the
Right.
rest are relatively modern day players.
Right.
They don't do that in baseball. It's just you vote over the entire pool of eligible players, and you have to hit a certain percentage. If you fall below a certain percentage, you're ineligible or off the ballot because they don't want to keep wasting everybody's time voting for somebody if it's just going to keep getting lower and lower and lower, and they're not going to vote for them.
There are some questionable people that are getting in the Hall of Fame.
Well, football's bad. Like I said, baseball's the only real Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
where
I
it's
agree.
really an exclusive club.
I agree.
Right.
And they're obnoxious about it. It's brutal.
Right.
And the problem is what you're talking about is because of the steroid guys are like, well, shit, we got to put somebody in.
Yeah.
So they start taking guys that you're like,
Yeah, exactly.
this guy. But
That's
yeah,
true.
I'm telling you, it's going to get worse. And we haven't even got there yet. And you talk about guys like Omar Vizquel.
Yeah.
I think Omar Vizquel is going to get into the Hall of Fame.
Well, I'm probably biased, but he was one hell of a baseball player.
I've never seen anybody. When you talk
Defensively,
about
he
the
was
art
awesome.
of baseball, you watch fielding and pitching. I could watch guys like that play shortstop and turn a double play. Oh my God!
Yeah.
The art of the double play, man. It's like I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Him and Alomar dancing around out there was
Remember
something
that?
else.
That was
Those
awesome.
mid '90 Cleveland teams.
Yeah, it was fun. Hey, no
was
World
crazy.
Series rings during that era, by the way.
Yeah.
Didn't actually.
You couldn't
win
compete without
anything.
steroids back then either.
Miami. How can
Everybody
we
was doing
lose
it.
to freaking Miami? And then they tanked the team the next year.
Yeah, they dismantled the whole
So
roster.
disheartening. Being a Cleveland sports fan is truly.
You guys started off. You guys
Challenging.
had CC to start though. You guys used to kill us with CC.
He was Joe and his brother Kyle and I went to a playoff game in it was 2001. It was right after 9/11.
Yeah, it was a week after 9/11. Yeah.
And CC started that game against the Mariners, and I think we won 17-2 or something.
He
and
did.
was
He
a kid,
he walked somebody in the first inning, and then after that, it was just a rout.
yeah. he was a beast when he was young. I mean, he was right around 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
He was a beast, and he was huge.
Yankee killer.
Yeah, man.
Yankee
And coming
killer.
from the left side with that heat, he was, wow, unbelievable.
Now my Yanks are doing good without their lineup, and
Yeah.
thank God for that.
Hall of Fame. So, who do we have in the Hall of Fame in the automobile industry? Who we got right now?
That's a good question.
Who's
worthy? Who's worthy?
Yeah,
Alagona,
Alagona, right?
Frank Cornetti.
Yeah.
Joe Girard.
To beat Joe Girard, there was Joe Girard took a lot of heat about when he wouldn't sign off on the
a little bit of a sore
Alagona
loser.
thing.
Yeah.
I think I had a little experience with him when we threw that Christian How to Run Your Dealership by the book.
Yeah.
We ran that Christian conference. How long ago has that been now, Ernie? What was that? 7 years ago. So I had reached out to Joe Girard just out of respect, really, and just to kind of see, right, and ended up speaking to his wife. $50,000. That's what she said. I said, for what? I forgot, maybe it was so outrageous that maybe forget why I called her. I said, for him to come in and speak for an hour, like $50,000? I said, I thought it would be kind of cool for him to get out of the house.
Yeah, really.
I pay for his plane ticket and a hotel room,
Right.
That didn't work. But I think probably most of the heat probably wasn't coming from Joe. It was probably coming from his wife because Joe, he just passed. So.
Yeah.
But I can remember in 1970, it was the first year I sold cars, so it was 74. The Cleveland Auditorium was right across the street from the Plymouth dealership. And I went in there, I got in there late, and Girard was speaking. I'm in the back row, and he was, at the time, it was his last year in sales. And he gave away this pin. Every single one of his customers, he'd greet him, he'd say, I love you. Yeah. And he'd give him a pin, said, I love you on it. That was his thing.
Yeah.
I come walking in there late, and it's like gymnasium doors behind me. It's like, oh,
No sneaking in.
Shit,
Yeah.
right? Nice to see you could make it, kid. It's like, okay,
Yeah, I'm gonna be that guy.
right. But he, I forget the numbers now. But he sold, what did he sell? 1,200 and some cars. It was
Something ridiculous.
right, and Ali Reedy was 14.
1582.
Yeah,
when he beat him.
1582. And this local guy, this Frank Cornetti,
Yeah.
he's
doing
100 a month,
Yeah,
right?
100 a month.
100 a month.
I just watched his story, and he said he really took him. I saw him speak at Hustle and Grind, and he really took off when he got cancer, and he went in for his
I
chemo
didn't know
treatment.
that.
Yeah, he went in for his chemo treatment, and I think he was like 60 or 70 cars a month when he first got cancer. I think this is how the story went, and he was going through his chemo treatment, and he had his phone out, and he was starting to text all of his customers, and that's when he really took advantage of the text messaging and realized that text messaging was one of the better platforms to reach your customers on, and discovered another way to talk to customers and elevate his game even more. So I think he made that leap from like 60 or 70 a month to actually getting to 100 while he was going through the worst times of his life, which
Wow.
is amazing to hear.
Yeah, I don't, not paying attention. I didn't know that story.
Yeah.
I mean, my biggest month was 57 cars, and it was
bless.
like,
Before the internet.
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, well, that's when, I bribed my F&I manager,
No.
so.
That's what. Do whatever it takes, bro.
Right, but it was nonstop.
Yeah.
It was 65, 70 hours.
I can't imagine how much money you were making back then holding gross. Oh, my Lord.
Well,
Times are good. Before
Yeah.
kids.
4 kids, yeah. Yeah, that money went pretty quick.
I can imagine. It's fun
But
to
it
make,
was
it's even funner to
it
spend.
was brutal, man. I mean, you're on the blacktop.
Yeah. No, the amazing thing about both Frank and Alagona is that they work 5 days a week.
Yeah, or not even.
Yeah.
Not
45
even.
They say between 40 and 45 hours a week.
Well, see this, and this comes back to what you were talking about selling outside the store. It's like they're not sitting in that store 60
Right.
hours a week making appointments, having people come into
Yeah.
the store 60
Exactly.
hours a week.
That's
it's just
exactly
not
right.
happening.
Right, where most of these guys, or what Ali said, or one of them, I think it was Ali Rita, is like, he's at every charity. He's at every
Yeah.
event. He just doesn't write a check. He's there. Because, it's the old Sam Kinison joke, you're living in the desert, starving, you don't have any water to drink. Move out of the desert.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Go to where the water is.
Go where the water is, yeah.
Right, so, yeah, that's interesting. Those guys don't work.
He also
So-
has like a slush fund for his customers. Like he puts away money every
What do you mean?
deal. And if something happens to one of their cars, he just takes care of it.
Oh.
I mean,
Doesn't
he,
run-
he, he doesn't. He,
Who are we
he-
talking about? Ali or-
Alagona.
Oh.
Yeah, he said. I mean, he basically, takes care of his customers and says, "I'm here for whatever you need. Something happens, you come in, I'll take care of it." I mean,
Right.
And that's what it's about. It's about creating those personal relationships.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen it.
I've seen him twice.
I've never seen what he makes, but what could you possibly be making on 1,500 cars a year?
$500,000.
Oh, gotta be.
Gotta be.
I mean,
Now, is he
got to be.
paying for support staff, or the
Yeah.
dealership's paying for support staff?
Oh,
I think probably both. I mean, I think he probably has some people he pays, but I'm sure the dealership gives him.
you would think.
If he's averaging 137 cars a month that year, I mean,
Yeah.
that's more than the average dealership.
Right,
sells.
that's a decent sized store by itself, just him.
Right, because he's not at every delivery, I would imagine.
He says he is.
Yeah.
So he's at the
He
delivery.
says he is.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that's the claim.
But he doesn't
Well,
price negotiate either.
So here's my question with these guys: why, now I understand why they wouldn't want to move up into a GSM, GM role or have any interest in that, because it's a completely different position and it's a pain in the ass.
Horrible.
Why aren't they getting
Right.
some percentage of the net at this
I
point?
agree.
Right.
How does that not happen? Now, you just said yourself
yeah.
they're could take their show to another store and literally outsell the entire store. How are you? I just
Yeah.
feel like you got to leave money on the table.
Well, maybe they're not because we don't know.
Yeah.
But well, it's
Yeah, yeah,
hard
that's
saying
true.
because there's no way that dealer would be
Can't replace.
They would.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know what
he could.
if he left. It would. I mean, that dealer. would be-
That's what I'm saying.
cry.
You could
I would
renegotiate
cry.
your pay plan every other month. Hey, I'm
leaving.
gonna take
Right.
my business across town.
Oh.
Can we talk pay
Talk
plan
about
again?
leverage.
I like
So-
my name right next to yours.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Actually, first.
Yeah, exactly.
And isn't that terrifying for the dealer? I mean, it's like
Oh,
think of how
I
much
would
of your
be.
business is tied up in one person.
I would be. We had a trainer like that years ago, and when he decided to go on his own, we freaked out a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
John Priest,
Priest.
JKP, our pal. You know, and it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? He's gone. And he's doing real well, and we're still friends.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Scary.
yeah, it
Scary.
for that
Was.
moment,
Yeah.
Yes.
it's like, oh crap, there goes X amount of revenue, there's X amount of clients.
But it
it's
speaks
like-
volumes that you guys are still friends, though.
Yeah.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah, it's a nice guy. He actually threw some props out the other day to
Yeah.
me. He was at McGrath
Oh yeah.
and said, "Yeah, thanks, Craig Lockard." And it's like
Never forget where you come from.
you shouldn't.
John's a good guy.
I'll never.
You shouldn't.
I'll never forget. There's only,
Who else we got in the Automotive Hall of Fame? I gotta put Ziegler in there, right?
Yes,
Zig.
absolutely.
Yeah, Jim Ziegler.
Oh, Jim. I thought you were thinking
Yeah.
Zig.
No, in the Automotive Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Jim Ziegler's
Jim
gotta
Ziegler,
be in there.
definitely. Hey, there's two quotes he always says that I love. You can make as much money as you can earn, and your raise becomes effective the moment you do.
Oh, yeah.
I love that one. And that's true for any business. Your raise becomes effective the moment you do.
Yeah.
The moment you decide to take. I have one of these. I have a sales professional that I'm friends with who does really well, and he averages like 30 cars a month off of social media. And I bust his chops because he doesn't like to jump in the CRM tool. He'll do everything else. He'll go above him. He'll hand out flyers before he jumps in the CRM
Why?
tool. I just don't know why. And I'm hoping he's listening right now because he knows who he is. We just talked yesterday. And he said, I'll do whatever it takes to sell a certain amount of cars this month. I said, and I even commented, I said, you'll do whatever it takes except jump into your CRM tool. Just jump in it. That's where
silly.
all the customers are at.
Hire somebody to do it.
Yeah.
You get somebody intern to do it for
That's what I said.
for nothing. I mean, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's the next logical.
Get somebody
move.
else dialing them and just be like Rivera. Be like, how Rivera was for Wetland. I said,
Right,
man,
right.
set me up.
I'm sorry to go down that Hall of Fame street because I'm just going to mention one more name, and that's Lisa Copeland. I think
Yes.
she's a Hall of Famer.
She's a rock star. I love
But
her.
I'm going to leave out 10,000 people and piss everybody off. and I'm
but
sorry.
everybody's still active, so that you,
Yeah.
don't, you don't
Right.
get into the Hall of Fame while you're still playing. So it's a
Oh,
little
good
bit
point.
different.
Yeah, that's true.
That is a good point.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's right.
And Lisa just got her own show, didn't she?
Yeah.
Congratulations
She's on
to her.
iHeart. She's kicking
She's
ass,
very impressive.
man.
She's very impressive. I met her at the Rockstar initially.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and did you
And our
spend time with her,
conference.
or was she there when you were there
Yes.
at our conference?
Yes.
Yeah. That was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool.
Good. She's good people.
She's awesome, man.
She's good people.
Yeah, I talked to her the other day. She's awesome.
Yeah, I remember I walked up to you guys, and you guys were sitting there talking at a table, and I kind of,
Oh, that's right.
I
Yeah,
was like, "Excuse me, can I come? Can I join?"
yeah, it was top secret
Yep.
stuff.
I caught Chris Walsh smoking a cigarette.
Right.
Sorry, Chris.
Hey, I got to pee. Excuse me. I'll be right back.
You're good. You're good. So, Anthony, we were talking about it before you came on. Your goal this year, and I'm going to go somewhere with this because
Yeah.
I mentioned that you're having another kid. I want to talk about balance and,
Yeah.
and family and work balance. Your goal this year for your family, the A team, as you call them,
Yeah.
was to take 12 vacations,
Yes.
which is unbelievable
Yeah.
for me. I mean, and I'm not talking about financially. I'm just finding the time
To do it.
to be successful running your own business and still finding the time to do that sort of thing. And you said you're going to come up a little short because your wife is now pregnant.
Yeah,
so obviously
we're going to
there's
probably
just
scale
some
back towards the end.
limitations. First, what motivated you? How'd you just consciously, because we talked about it,
Yeah.
everything's a conscious decision. So
Yeah.
you sat down and you said, we're going to do 12 vacations. What made you do that? And then, like I said, how have you balanced it?
What made me do it is because I get a lot of flack. I mean, actually, this is going to be the first year I'm not flying out on Mother's Day. Usually I fly out every Mother's Day. I get a lot of flack for traveling a lot. Anthony, how can you leave your family? How can you leave your family? And I just got flack for leaving on Easter. And I remember somebody was in my inbox on Easter and said, I can't believe it, and leaving on Easter of all days. And I said, well, listen, if Jesus can sacrifice himself for me, I can sacrifice myself for my family. So it is what it is. Every day should be special. But just traveling so much and being away from my family and missing them while I'm gone, I said, if I can travel as much as I can for work, I can make it a point to make it a goal to take them somewhere. I don't care if it doesn't have to be a 7-day vacation. I don't care if it's 2 or 3 or 4. I'm going to make it a point to spend time with them and take them and make them. I do a lot of things. I say, make the most of your moments.
Right.
You know, as long as I'm just taking advantage of the time when I'm with them, and it's not about buying them material things, but it's about creating memories with them. I want my son to remember me. I want my son to know that I was at one place at a certain time in my life, and I was able to choose to be great. I made a choice that I'm going to go be great, and I'm going to do the things that most people aren't willing to do. So I told myself this year I'm going to make 12 vacations, and it started in December. I sent my wife to Phoenix. She wanted to go to Phoenix to see one of her friends, but my calendar for December was just ridiculous, and I said, listen, I can't go, and here's a good test with our son on the plane. Good luck. So I sent her to see one of her friends in Phoenix, and he didn't cry on the plane.
Oh, cool.
January, I took him to India. 14-and-a-half-hour flight out there, 16-hour flight back. He didn't cry on the plane not once.
No way.
It's amazing. I mean, this kid is just his name actually means happiness in Indian. My father-in-law chose it.
Okay.
We wanted something with an A because my wife's name is Ambika. Mine's Anthony. Last name's Alagona. So we wanted something with an A, and he chose it. And I said it out loud, and I was like, you know what? I like it. And I was like, it's different. And come to find out, it's like Steve in India. Like it's very common, very common. So his name is Anand. And then in February, I took him to see my mother in Fort Myers because my mom moved down in January. March, I took him. My wife wanted to go see a couple friends in North Carolina and South Carolina, so I took her down there. April, we went back to Fort Myers to go see my mom. This month we're going to Ohio.
Where at in Ohio?
I wish I knew. It's one of my friends that just moved out there.
Okay.
It's definitely not near Chillicothe because I'm supposed to go out and work with the dealer in Chillicothe. Matter of fact, the first dealer that I signed up when I left my old company just called me back.
No good.
Almost 4 years later.
Who is it? You want a name drop?
Hernstein Automotive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
We know Bart.
Awesome people, and they were referred to me from Scott Doobie, from Doobie Hyundai, and
Another client of ours as well.
yep.
We know Scott.
And matter of fact, when he reached out to me, I said, "Listen, my prices have changed, but I really respect that you guys were able to take a shot on me. So my price is the same price from when you hired me."
So you went way back first year pricing.
Yeah, I said,
Wow.
"Listen, you guys had that. Yeah, it's just
Faith,
they didn't have to take a shot on me.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Very cool.
And it's not really about the money for me. I mean, I tell some of my dealers, don't listen to what I'm about to say. I would do most of this for free. That's how much
Right.
I love this. I love what I do. So it's not even about the money. I think if I do the right thing and I teach them how to do the right thing and they know my heart's in the right place, that the business is going to come sooner or later.
Takes care of itself.
So when within those vacations,
Mm-hmm.
I think this is something Joe and I definitely struggle with. Are you taking a vacation?
Yeah.
Are you
How unplugged are you?
away?
100%.
I'm away from business, yes, and social media, no, because part of my social media strategy, I mean, and that's where all my business comes from. 90% of my business comes from social media. The other 10% is from referrals. I have not literally called one dealership to prospect since I left my old company. Everything has come to me, and it's because of the way I use my social media. You'll never see me place an ad. You'll never see me say I'm a trainer, just how much I charge. But what I do is I put strategic people in my network. I say I listen for, I look for dealer principals, GMs, GSMs, salespeople, BDC managers, BDC reps, real estate and hospitality. I put them into my social media and I let them watch me. And then I give them the inside of me. They get to see me with my son. They get to see me running with my dog. They get to see me putting out motivational stuff. I let them get to know me as a person. And my philosophy is if they like me enough as a person and they're in the market for what I'm selling, they're going to reach out to somebody they like and respect. So that's why when I have some of the criticism or some of the things that have come at me in the past, I tell myself I'm not going to let other people judge me. Their opinion is my purpose is more important than their opinion, and I'm gonna let my character for the last 8 years of how consistent it's been let people judge me by that. And if they're not gonna judge me by that, it's okay. I'm not gonna let myself get caught up in how you feel about me.
And that's hard to do.
It is.
It's hard to make yourself vulnerable. We talked about it last week because that's Jason Gerdner's pitch too on Facebook. Is people say, well, what do you do on Facebook? How do you just be yourself?
Yeah.
And but it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
And you and I both went down that road where we weren't comfortable promoting both what we do as a career and who we are as a person through one page on Facebook. We wanted to split it up, but the fact is, it's all one thing, and it has to be that way for if you want people to trust you and you want to actually market yourself as a person through social media.
I agree.
So have you ditched one of your pages?
Yeah, it's still out there, but I never use it.
No.
I haven't used it in forever. It's you just got to buy into yourself basically and get comfortable in your own skin. And like you said, it's people are going to like me or
they're not.
Go to hell. And I've toned it down a little bit.
Of
I'll get
course.
those flashbacks from things that I posted on Facebook 10 years ago. I'm like, oh God, Joe.
Yeah.
And it's unique for me because my generation started Facebook. Facebook started when I was in college.
Yep.
That's when Zuckerberg was putting it out there. And it was just for your university to get to know other people at your university. So, I've been on Facebook a while. I've had an account a while. So
Crazy,
you see
right?
old
Yeah,
stuff.
and it
it's
pops up, you're like,
embarrassing.
whoa.
I'm like, what? I said that? I was just throwing that out there?
Yeah.
Just blasting people. So, I have cleaned it up a little bit. But people get the gist of who I am as a person. And that's what's important.
Well, one of the reasons I ask you about, do you actually take the time? In our,
it's hard.
We're smaller internally. I mean, you're by yourself, so I mean, you can't just ignore
off.
stuff.
Yeah.
We don't. I don't. When we go on a vacation, I'm still
Ernie
working.
stays plugged in more than we'd like him to.
Yeah.
No, I'm not proactively talking to clients, but I'll if a client reaches out, I'll let them know I'm on vacation, and if it's really important, I'll at least respond. But I try to stay focused. The only thing I do for work, and this is part of my strategy, is just let people see who I am. So I'll post about my vacations and I'll post myself.
Oh, that's fair.
But I don't really try to go out and I don't schedule any phone trainings or any webinars or anything like that. I just I tell the dealer I need this time to reset. So you could have me at my best when I'm at your store because everybody needs to kind of hit that reset button every once in a while.
And you are a firm believer. Want to go back just to have a separate department for the business development.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, I would teach both models. Listen. If you had a very disciplined sales staff, I would be in all favor of having your salespeople handle your leads. But I just know from being in so many dealerships, I haven't seen one dealership do it effectively yet.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunate.
If I were selling, that were my if being frank, that's what I'd want to do. I'd want to be able to do that.
Of course.
But like you just said, I don't know that there's enough discipline or management discipline to make sure that occurs.
I say, listen, if what should really be happening is that they never let somebody walk out of the store without taking a TO, right? Yeah, that should be the same philosophy inside the BDC. And if I'm a sales professional, I said there's a difference between a salesperson and a sales professional, and it's everything, and there's either one or the other. If I'm a sales professional, I want to be inside that BDC when there's nobody inside my store. And they should want to be in there too because, sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, BDC agents don't really have a lot of experience just talking about financing questions or talking about leasing. They get uncomfortable. There should be a sales professional be able to take that TO right away to effectively, talk about these situations and teach people. How often do you see a sales professional practice their walk around and teach a BDC agent about the car?
Right.
And that's something that should be happening because guess what? They should be able to talk about the car. It's not about selling the car. We already know that 85% of the people aren't going to buy the exact vehicle. It's either a different color or trim level or car altogether, but you should be teaching product knowledge. When I was a bartender, I didn't have to know how the food was cooked or prepared, but I had a different mindset. Everybody was a $10 bill when they walked in because I was going to make you buy $50 worth of food and I was going to over-deliver on your experience, which is going to give me $10 a head. And I had a strategy, and I already gave the example how I can come up to your table one of two ways.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with, here's the best scenario. If you call up about an F-150 truck, and you live in Tennessee, and you call up a dealership, and a young lady answers the phone, and you're wanting to know about the tow package, there's a perception that young lady doesn't know about the truck or the tow package, and that he wants to talk to a male, which is totally untrue because I have a lot of dealers down in Kentucky and Tennessee with some phenomenal females that know a lot about stuff, but there's a perception out there. So you got to be able to teach these things.
Yeah, nothing kills a deal faster than I don't know. I got to go check.
Yeah.
I'll find out for you.
But it works both ways. I mean, if you had sales professionals that want to dial the phone, I promote salespeople coming into that department and calling leads. That's what you should want to do.
Well, when I was talking about the dealership that I worked with first, every day everybody had to do an hour of phone time.
Yes.
And we literally called out of, I don't know, crisscross directory, I think it was what they were called. Right. And we'd be dialing for dollars.
Yeah.
And there was a manager in the room, and he would take a TO if you needed it, but you'd go through the same thing with maybe 100 different phone calls.
Yep.
But you ended up getting a couple sales
Yes.
from that, as crazy as that was. And it actually made you better at handling other objections.
Agreed.
So,
I tell salespeople.
Crisscross directory.
I tell salespeople, if you don't have an appointment on your calendar, and this is why I put out fill in white space on there. I'm not like, if you ask a salesperson how much you want to make this month, they're going to tell you they want to sell 20 cars. How many salespeople do you know that have a goal for how many cars they want to sell in a year? Do they even have a amount of what they want to make? And then do they have the roadmap?
How do they not?
Right? They just
Very
don't.
few.
There's not many car salespeople I know that say I want to sell 350 this year
And know how
then
to get there.
And know how to get there, right? So for me, I told myself when I first left my company, I didn't have to get every dealership. There's 20,000 franchise dealerships out there. I didn't need every dealership. Matter of fact, my buddy Chris Walsh said, Anthony, you just get a small percentage to deliver you. You're going to be fine. And he was a very big part of my support system when I left. And I told myself, this is my mindset. I need to get 12 dealerships that love me so much that they'll bring me back once a quarter to train them. If I could just get 12 to bring me back once every 3 months, I could work 3 days a week and make over $300,000 a year. And I told myself, okay, that doesn't seem like it's impossible to do.
Sure.
12,
Right.
that's not a problem. Let me start with 1. And then let me over-deliver on 1,
Right.
and then let me over-deliver on 2. And then before you know it, my calendar's full. So I tell salespeople, if you're coming in without appointments on your board, especially if you have a BDC, number one, learn how to walk into the BDC and say, hey, how's everybody doing today? Anybody need coffee, donuts? Can I get you a video for that walk around, whatever you need? And number two, I say, if I can get you to dial the phone 60 times a day, I can get you 6 extra cars a month as deals. Would you be willing to do it? And they're like, yes. And it's just a math equation, because the statistics, if you're making an outbound phone call, you only got about a 10 to 15% chance to get somebody to pick up. And then of all the conversations that you're having, you should be setting somewhere between 25 and 30% of those people into an appointment. And the way to get people to set an appointment is to get people to like you, trust you, believe you, and most importantly, remember you. So when I'm training, in the middle of my training, the first thing I do is I get them to love me first, and then I get them to tell them about themselves. And in the middle of my training, I stop. I say, do you guys think I know what I'm doing? And they're like, yes. I go, do you guys think I love what I do? And they say, yes. I go, and if you saw me outside tonight in a restaurant out of this gear, would you recognize me? Yes. Do the same thing with your customers, and you get more set appointments. But then the national average for shows, which is why I don't care about if you could just set an appointment, is 50%, right? Most of my clients are about an 85 to 90% show rate, right? And that's because you're creating a relationship. I got numbers all over my phone, pictures. They send me their board every day.
Right.
And the way to get more people to show up to your dealership is to create value in 3 specific areas. Is number one, what makes you different than everybody else? How do you build value in yourself? And this is why I say identify yourself. If I'm a BDC person, think of me as your vehicle concierge. My job is to get you information and to make this fast, easy, and convenient. If I'm a salesperson, I'm not your typical salesperson. I work alongside the internet department. That means I'm going to get you all the information that you're looking to get on the internet and make this fast, easy, and convenient. Same spiel, but different twist to it. And then build value into the vehicle, which is why you need to know your product knowledge, which is why salespeople should be practicing their walk around every single day. As a matter of fact, for BDCs, I say this is what you do, especially when you're new in the business. Create a cheat sheet. Every day, pick one vehicle in your inventory. Go to Word document, put in 2019 Toyota Camry. I want you to make one bullet point, starts off at X and ends at Y for price point. And then I want 3 bullet points underneath of what you love about that car. Study it for 10 minutes, do it again tomorrow, put a new one on the list. Right? Every day, just study something. Because when I first got into the restaurant business and I started working for a fine dining restaurant, I looked at the wine list and I was like, wow, I'm going to make money here. But I knew nothing about wine. So every day I would pick up one different wine bottle. I would literally read the story on the back of it, memorize it, go up to the table and feature it. And I would just spit it out. And that's how I started learning about wine. So know your product knowledge. And then what separates you as a dealership? What's your dealership's proposition package? What are you doing different than every other dealership? Build value in those 3 areas every single time. And more importantly, build rapport, and you have to look for areas of commonality. This is why I ask about if they're going to use this vehicle for work. so I can find out what they do for work. I'm listening for kids. I'm listening for dogs. I'm asking these questions. I'm putting all these notes into the CRM tool, because if you can't close me, or if you can't close me on a deal, but you call me back and say, Anthony, I'm following up about that Jeep Wrangler. By the way, how's Zeus? I'm going to be like, holy shit, Joe remembers me. And Joe's going to be like, no, I take really good notes.
Yeah.
Right? So perception is their perception is your reality, right? The customer's perception is your reality.
Right. And that's a good one. And it's again, it has to be casual. You can't force it in.
Yes.
But it's funny. We talked about sports, and we're going to talk about sports on the show, and it's just going to come up. And I apologize for anyone out there who doesn't love sports, but it's going to come up.
We do.
Yeah. And I always use sports as a relationship builder with our clients, and it never, ever fails.
Never.
It never fails. And it's not just men. It's women, too. It's just the easiest way to get real with someone, find a common denominator, and be able to take some of the stress off and talk about, things other than the proposed, agreement. But yeah, it's I can always talk sports.
Yeah.
I said before we were talking about I just moved to a new area, and I'm struggling. It's hard to make other parent friends.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you experience it too, especially being so busy. And you got to find, they got to be other parents. You can't make friends with other single or other non-parent couples.
Yeah, it's just weird.
They just don't get it. It's a different life.
They want
So-
to talk about their dog, and you want to talk about
it's
the
like,
kids.
all right. So anyway, I can't make friends with a dad that I can't at least talk at a base level about sports with.
Yeah.
I've tried too, but it's like the conversation always ends up
Flat.
there. And if they can't even,
Entertain
just
it.
chime in a little
Yeah.
bit, I don't know where to go with the conversation. And it's like, I know a lot about a lot of different things. I can talk about other stuff, but I'd rather sit here and shoot the shit about sports.
Yeah.
So if we can't ever go to that, I don't know how the hell I'm going to be friends with
Exactly. I'm the same way.
Good stuff.
Anthony, you were talking about learning something different about your product all the time so you can be a product expert.
Yeah.
I think it's also very valuable to know your biggest competition, their products, as well as your own, if
I
not
agree.
better.
I agree.
Because that just opens up the door for some commonality.
Agreed.
And you're showing your knowledge. I mean, I think you can be more helpful
Agreed.
as a sales individual, whether it's the BDC or in live person.
I agree
A
100%.
lot of time needs to be invested with that.
I tell, matter of fact, when BDC agents, especially if they're brand new to the business, I say the first thing you need to do tonight is you need to go submit a lead at your competition and go through the buying process. Because either you're gonna get a rock star that you can take some notes from, or you're gonna learn not what to do.
Right.
And you should understand how the process works.
Yep.
Right. And I love product knowledge. Product knowledge is number one. Product and service knowledge is number one for me, and I'm sure you've seen it too in pitching your services to dealers. It's like you said, you got to love it, and it just kind of comes through. So first, it's mastering, what it is you're offering, and having, like we talked about, your word tracks, and then personalizing it. But that from there, you have to actually love it because it has to come out in your voice, and they have to feel that you actually believe in what it is.
Yeah.
So whether it's our services or it's someone working in a BDC, you have to really attach to your brand. And there's people that I see online that are killing it with social, whether it's just salespeople, showroom floor salespeople, or BDC, they love their brand. And they have attached themselves 100% and 100% bought into whatever they're selling at that store.
Right. And we've been talking about it in recruiting more. I think that when you're looking at people, especially people without experience, which we deal a lot in, the ability, at least intellectually, to be able to understand brand and the importance of building one and building one quickly because it can be done so quick.
Right.
Now, it's like lightning in your brand. Boy, that trumps Trump. That trumps a lot of stuff.
Right.
How about, he's got to love that we still use the word Trump, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Trumps this. He's got to love that.
It's funny
I'd
too.
like to have a word. That lockards everything. Right? That would be
everything.
That would be awesome.
Every time I hear Trump, all I can think of is euchre, which there's probably very few people listening. You know euchre?
Yeah.
Really?
How
That's
the hell?
weird.
How the hell do you know euchre?
I don't know. I know their name. Don't know them personally.
Oh no. I'm talking about. I'm sorry. I'm talking
game,
about
the
the
card
game. The
game.
card
Oh,
game.
euchre,
That's
no,
what I mean.
no.
It's a Midwest card game.
Yeah.
And since I moved out to New Jersey,
No one knows.
I can't
What
get a
is
game
euchre?
of euchre. It's like
What's
it's like
it related to?
spades,
Okay.
except
I know spades.
Trump is variable.
Okay.
Whatever's Trump is called, and you only play from 9 up through ace. If Stacy Smith, our fixed op recruiter, is listening, she's from Michigan. She knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Michigan. I
probably
like Michigan.
knows.
I have a lot of clients in Michigan.
It is impossible. But anyway, Trump is Trump. You trumped it. So yeah.
One of the things I do when I go into dealerships, the way I separate myself from other trainers is I tell my story because I really believe they got to kind of get to know me as a person, and then I make them tell me their story, because how everybody gets in by circumstance, and I use it later on because I think it's a lot easier for me to make them my friend first. I'm looking to be their friend, because if I'm their friend, they're more likely to follow my process. And once they do follow the process as a friend, it's easier to get them to get back on process than it is if I walk in there like this trainer that knows everything, that's just there for the money, so to speak. And when I leave, I tell them, whether your dealership ever brings me back ever again or not, you now have my contact information, and I'm yours forever. Yep. Because my success is correlated with yours. If I can make you successful, whether you're at this dealership or another one, you're going to talk about my services in a certain way. So
it's got to be, man.
That's interesting. So you do that before you even propose anything, before you even start talking about what you offer, what your services are. Yep. You tell them your story, and you ask them to talk a little bit about themselves. And
no, I do that when I get inside the dealership.
Okay.
But for when I don't really have a problem. I don't. Matter of fact, I don't ever have to pitch. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Right.
They call me, but like for instance, when I was at my last dealership, when I was with Mike Udell, the last day, I make it a point that I work with their sales team, because I believe the sales team has to be in the same mindset with the BDC. And I said, listen, I need to sit with your sales staff. So they gave me their entire sales staff for about an hour, and I didn't know it, but the owner was sitting in, one of the owners, and there's two brothers that own the store, and they own multiple stores. And I go into the whole thing, and I give them, at first I tell them about how I got into the business, how I had so much adversity to overcome, and how when I left I had to deal with certain things. And then I make them tell me their story. I go around the room. What's your name? What'd you do before this? What made you choose? How many cars you selling this month? What's your goal for next month? And I get that all the way. And then I go into my training part of it. And at the end of it, when I let everybody go, who I didn't know was the owner, walks up to me and says, "When are you coming back?" And I said, "Well, I'm talking to Mike. I just gave Mike a discount for the monthly support, because he's been a friend, a mentor, and like a brother, and he's believed in me when a lot of people didn't." And he goes, "No, I'm not talking about this store." He's like, "I own a bunch of other stores I want to bring you back for." And it's because I think it's really because I tell my story, and I throw my dirt out there. I'm not afraid of my dirty past. Right. Like, I had good times making that dirty past. And people say, "Anthony, would you do it different if you can do it over?" I wouldn't. No. I had that much fun doing it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have the most morals when I was abusing drugs and abusing alcohol and when I was homeless. But, and I get criticized for putting too much on social media. But when my son grows up, when AAA grows up, he's going to go to Google. He's going to find out all the bad things I've done in my life, because it's out there. But he's also going to go on social media. And this is why I say social media is so important. This is why, I don't understand why people, there's certain vendors that we're friends with that I cannot recommend their services to dealers because they can't keep their mouth shut, whether they're pro-Trump or anti-Trump.
Sure.
Right? Like if let's say I'm a Republican and I really hate the Democrats, why would I put my opinion out on social media? Why wouldn't I just play chess and sell it to as many Democrats as possible?
Right. That's right. Well, you're going to piss off 50% of the population.
That's right. I've seen you comment about that. Yes. You're always chiming in when people do that, and you always say the same thing. What are you doing, dude?
What are you doing? It's like you're alienating people.
Who cares? Why would you? That's your beliefs are your beliefs. Why would you cut off half your client base?
It's like,
but isn't that you're trying to be transparent?
No, but it's the over the top stuff. It's not about the transparent. It's when you go out and you say, it's this way. If you don't believe this way, you're stupid.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And when you attack each other, it's like, everybody has here's my thing, and I said this to Elise because someone criticized Elise for like traveling too much, and I commented on her.
They're on her about wearing red lipstick now.
It's they criticize.
That's how crazy.
Haters gonna hate, but everybody has an opinion, and this is why I say you need to hone your skills and perfect your craft, because professionals get paid for their opinion. And at one point, no one gave a shit what I said. They didn't care. They wouldn't pay for my services before I got into this business. Right. Now I get paid more money in one day than I made in a whole month. Right back, and it's because I honed my skills, and it's because I've actually seen dealer principals unfriend and unfollow and not hire people for their services because of their political opinions on social media. I can't recommend certain friends of ours because they put too much political stuff out there, because I can't put my name on them. I would be embarrassed if the dealer said, "Anthony, you really want me to hire somebody that just can't keep their mouth shut?" Yeah. It's like you have to have some willpower. You have to. Yeah. Facebook. I mean, think about this. This is a tool that was meant to bring us together, and most people are using it to tear each other apart.
Sure.
Well, it's out of control.
It's out of control.
Social media.
America was founded and derived on the difference of opinions. Like you should be able to have a different religious opinion. I was in the airport looking up at I was watching a football game in the wintertime, and this guy comes up and he's a born-again Christian. He says, he's like, do you believe in Jesus? I said, I sure do. He was like, what religion are you? I said, well, listen, I grew up Protestant. I really wasn't a practicing Protestant. My parents weren't religious. My parents were both alcoholics growing up, so wasn't a lot of religion in my house. But now I'm going to convert to Hinduism. And the minute I said that, you're going to hell. Why would you ever do that? I'm like, first of all, Hinduism is actually the oldest religion on the planet. Who's praying to the right God? No one. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die to get there. And to put your opinions out on other people, I would never alienate people. I would never just on my opinion. Maybe it's just something I wouldn't do. I don't know.
Right.
I just think it's
Right,
bad
so-
business practice.
Well, it's his bad for approaching it in that
sense. Yeah, I get it
in that way for sure.
But I don't know why certain people just go out there and just put all their opinions everywhere.
Yeah, well, there's alt right,
Yep.
alt left, and I'm
Well,
not
there's
quite
just-
sure exactly who alt right is, but they're all
Me
both
neither.
way out there. On both sides are.
And there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, and there's a right way and a wrong way to be professional, and some people
course.
just don't know how to act. To go back to your question, it's not holding back on who you are. Be yourself. Make sure everybody knows it, but don't be obnoxious about it,
Right.
and be accepting of other people's opinions and thoughts and background and religious affiliation or whatever.
Here's
it
my
may
best
be.
example of it. Would any of you three walk into NADA or digital dealer, and let's say you guys are pro-Trump. I don't know what you guys are. Would you ever walk into the conference and get on the microphone and say, Democrats suck? Or would you ever say, Republicans suck?
Right.
Of course.
You would never do that.
It's
But
inappropriate.
right? Because all the dealers that are there, right? It's inappropriate. But people go on to social media where there's a billion people and all the dealers are on there anyways, and they scream it
Yeah.
to more.
Right.
They're screaming to more.
Yeah, and the dealer will not say anything.
No. Don't
He'll
say,
just
Yeah, it's just
delete,
over.
block.
bye-bye.
You're out of my life.
You know what's funny? We were just talking about how I hold back a little bit more. You know what I hold back on the most now is sports.
Yeah.
Sports is a big one. People
Oh,
take
it's hard.
football really serious in this country.
Yeah.
And I've had to chill out because, I used to just spout out in the middle of games and everything. And it's like, well, shit, now we got clients all over the country.
Right.
I got
So text from dad. Hey Joe, would you?
Yeah,
little bit.
So I got to back off. It's not as fun. I used to have a lot more fun on there, but I don't piss off as many people now because,
You know what I do
who cares?
to make myself feel better? I type out what I want to say.
And then delete or save it. Absolutely.
I
Perfect.
know, I've done that a million times.
Yep.
Thank God.
Yep.
Because I used to hit that send button. Emails were the worst.
Well, guess what? Our new email server in Zoho, you get a 10 or 15-second pullback.
Really?
No way.
That's awesome.
Really?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
first-
yeah.
I didn't know
You
that.
click a button, it'll bring it back.
Oh, it's a terrific
Unsend.
idea.
That is a terrific idea.
I should probably start
They
using
should do
our
that for text messages, too.
Yeah, you don't even need
I
to.
should start using our CRM.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to
Yeah,
happen.
we don't,
That's
we're not paying
He's
for
up there with your
user-
guy.
That's why.
I've heard that about 20 times.
That's why
in
God.
6
That's why
months.
God made legal pads.
Joe, we're not
I'm a
paying
legal
for
pay
his
guy,
Yeah,
call it
no,
user.
I've given up
anyway.
on the Craig Lockard user account.
Hey, have I mentioned that this show ain't free and that we have friends that
do
of
have
the
friends.
program
Pay for
that
it.
take care of
Let
that
us
stuff?
let people know.
Do we want to do reads or want to just talk?
No, let's talk. That's
Yeah,
what we
let's
did
talk.
last time.
Where do you
talk
wanna start?
casually? Well, let's
Start
talk. Let's talk with Rockstar because we're going out there
Right.
every week.
Um,
I'm
This
excited.
Monday,
gonna-
Monday, 13th and 14th.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna play some blackjack.
He's never been to Vegas,
Lose
and
a
that's where
couple
they're
months
having
of
it.
mortgage. I'm really pumped up.
who
That's a fun
did you just
conference.
say we've never been to Vegas?
Joe,
He's been to Vegas.
I thought you weren't at Vegas.
Hello.
I was with you.
We're not talking
I sat
about
next to you
Vegas.
in the gentleman's club.
We're not talking about
Oh,
Vegas.
because you
Yeah.
went. Whew,
Yeah.
Rockstar's a fun conference.
You got one on me there.
Rockstar's fun.
It is fun, and at the hotel they have it at the D. It's
Is it good? I mean,
it's not, listen, it's not bad by any means, and you're on what's the name of that street?
Fremont.
Fremont.
Yeah.
Lots of characters out there.
I know. I had Jody get us some
The rooms are
suites.
cheap.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, ours not so cheap.
Yeah,
We got
Good.
big boy rooms.
good. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, listen,
Separate
I'm-
rooms? Are you kidding me?
Right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I
well-
told him. So
Yeah, but I had already made those plans because I knew you would be
sure,
able to
I
handle
said
my.
something right away. Yeah, well, he snores like a bear, and lives by himself, so doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
So we
Right.
went out last year to Innovative Dealer Summit,
Right.
Colorado Dealers Association,
Found out, huh?
and I didn't sleep the whole time.
Yeah.
I went out on the pull out. I'd get a couple hours and stuff, and I said, "Dad, you snore just a little bit." Excuse me. Separate rooms for this trip.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited. I haven't seen Matt since he spoke at our conference.
That was a fun conference.
Yeah.
That was a good time.
It
Yeah.
was. It was great. Rockstar's just different. In one of his, he was on a show with our guy Anthony Santangelo last night. They did a little show, and it really hit me. And I knew this, but the speaker lineup. These literally are people that get paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like literally get paid a lot of money to come and speak it for other industries, and they'll speak there for free.
Let's name drop. Who's talking?
Oh man,
Frank Lopes.
I'd have to look it up.
Lisa
Frank
Copeland?
Lopes, Lisa Copeland, Katie Mars.
I don't know how you say that.
I'm not sure.
It's funny with social media. Half the time you don't learn how to pronounce people's names.
What's Schwab's first name? What's her name? Karen?
Karen, yeah.
Oh, I'm screwing this up bad. Ask a Millionaire. Are you familiar with that guy? His name's, what the heck's his name? I'll look it up here. But
I'm not sure.
he's on Instagram, has like 1 trillion followers. He makes...
Joshua Mitchell?
No. I forget the amount. I mean, he makes a boatload of dough just from Instagram, like $5 million a year or something. And he had a company, he sold it for like $20 million or something. But
Power of an internet. Power of social media.
Rockstar Auto Conference.
Yeah. That should be good. I always enjoy listening to Frank talk. Frank's going to be on tomorrow morning, actually.
Yeah, Frank's going to be here.
Frank's good. Yeah, I saw that. Frank's good people.
Oh, he's awesome, man. He cracks me up. He cracks me up.
I just convinced him to speak up. I'm going to be hosting a conference, but for a different industry in July.
Oh, are you? Tell us about that.
It's called Sip, Sample, Socialize, and when I first got into this business, I jumped out for like 8 months, and before I jumped back in, and I went back into hospitality, which is where I spent 20 years, and I want to teach hospitality, I think, outside the box, but now I'm gearing this next conference towards real estate agents, and I'm going to teach them on how to maximize the network out there. So I'm going to have real estate agents. I'm going to get a couple automotive dealerships in my area to get involved as sponsors, so I can show them how to work together. Mortgage brokers, insurance agents, and videographers, and basically, I'm going to teach real estate agents on how to use the power of social media, digital marketing. I mean, have you ever seen somebody do a virtual open house yet?
Yeah, they're insane.
Yes. Right? They're
absolutely insane.
Right?
Very
And
cool.
More people should be
I
doing
saw a
it.
builder do it. It was so cool.
Now,
Awesome.
I'm getting the local restaurants involved. I mean, how awesome would it be if you went to an open house and the realtor had a partnership with the dealership where they can have 2 brand new cars inside the driveway, but also have a spread of food inside the house that's sampled from all the different restaurants in that local community. I'm going to teach them on how to work together because
Sweet.
I work with Jägermeister. I work with VDK 6100, which is Robert De Niro's vodka. I work with
Name drop.
Grey Goose. Yeah, I work with a lot, and I work at restaurants. So I'm bringing all my network together. I'm going to show them on how to work with each other. And at the end of the conference, I'm going to say, listen, I put all this together. It didn't actually cost me a dime to put it together. As a matter of fact, I made X amount of dollars. I'm going to tell them how much I made from putting it together. And if I can do this, you guys can work with each other too. Now, here's the intro. And if you need help putting it together, here's how to do it. I'll show you guys a flyer before I leave.
That's like we were talking about how.
What's the time frame on that? When are you
It's July 8th. I'm looking at tentative July 8th. I would love to have you guys, if you want to come or be a part of it.
Where's it going to be at?
Monmouth County, New Jersey.
How do people hook up with you to?
They could find me at anthonyalagona.com, or they can just get me on social media on Facebook, Anthony Alagona, because I'm just nailing down the venue right now.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out if I'd rather put it in a hotel or I'd rather put it into a restaurant / venue that I'm friends with. It just depends on how many tickets we sell.
Feels more right.
But I've already got a bunch of speakers getting involved. I just told Frank he needs to be a part of it, and he just committed to me on the text message. So thank you, Frank Lopes. And
Frank Lopes.
Yes. And I look forward to over-delivering on the experience. I plan on just going above and beyond and wowing people.
That's fun. That sounds fun.
And it's sip, sample, socialize. So I'm going to have my restaurants giving free food. I'm going to have my liquor sponsors giving free
Right.
liquor.
Right.
And then we're going to show you guys on how to network with each other.
Let me get back to Rockstar. That's awesome. Thank you. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Any way we can help you,
I appreciate it.
So we got Katie Mars. We have Carrie Wise.
I love
True
her.
Car. She's freaking awesome.
She's the best.
She really is an amazing person. Kendrick Shope, our good pal, Lisa Copeland.
She's awesome, too.
Sean Walsh.
Like Sean Walsh.
Michelle Deganen. Is she...
Never heard her yet.
Is she the Olympic champion?
No, I know you're talking about. That's Pat something.
Oh, yeah.
Pat, what's her name?
Sean Kelly. Sean's an awesome guy.
Sean's awesome guy.
Our very own Anthony Santangelo.
Good people, Anthony Santangelo.
He is. Oh, Coach Sherry Wynn.
I love Sherry. When I was there for last one, she was at.
Frank Lopes. And that's all I see on their site.
I usually send one of my clients to a conference every conference. I pay for their ticket, their airplane, and I try to give back to my clients.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, Christian Jorn, I forgot him.
Christian Jorn. He knows
El
what he's doing.
Patron.
El Patron. Hey, Brandon. He knows how to brand that, man.
No kid.
Right?
Yeah,
Kicking ass with Mitsubishi.
Right?
How is that even that shouldn't even be a sentence.
It's crazy.
And to the point,
Unreal.
he called us. He was looking, I forget. We didn't
We
end up
live,
doing
kid.
anything together. I didn't know his name.
Yeah.
Because he brands himself well as
You don't
El
know it's
Patron.
Rudy,
I was like,
right?
I was like, dude, can I call you El Patron? He's like, Rudy, El Patron. I don't care. Call me whatever, man.
He's so consistent. He's such a positive energy. And,
yeah.
Seems like it.
You know, he's doing the things that most people aren't willing to do.
Yeah,
He
for
is.
sure.
I respect the hell out of him.
I'm
You
looking
talk
forward to
about
meeting him. I
Being
really
comfortable
am.
in your skin and putting
Yeah.
it out there and showing everybody everything.
Well,
He does it.
he did his own conference.
Yeah.
What car dealer does a conference?
Yeah.
And it looked like there were a lot of people
Yeah.
there to me. I don't know.
He has a good network of people.
It looked like it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting him too.
Yeah. So Rockstar is going to be great.
Yeah.
Listen, folks, really, seriously, no kidding. There's going to be, I don't know, with replay and everything, there'll be 3,000 to 4,000 people that have seen or heard this thing.
Yeah.
Today, it's free.
Yeah.
Just
It's Vegas. It's Vegas and it's free.
It's
not just
Vegas.
free.
It's free.
It's
You
Vegas
pay
and
for the
it's
room.
free.
The rooms are really affordable. The
They really
room
are.
blocks are cheap. Fremont Street, if you've never been there, is a gas. It's fun. There's street performers, and it's a really good environment. And the people speaking in this thing are really good. So
I love what he does with the selfie thing.
I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
It's such a good way to get people to interact with each other and get that nervous energy
It
away.
is, man. I love it. That's why I stole it for the Automax Synergy
As you
conference.
should.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, I told him, I said, dude, I'm doing the selfie thing. That's a good way for people to get to know each other. Then who else we got? Friends of the program?
You can go with our guys at Dealer World.
Dealer World. Troy Springs said something the other day to us when he was in here that I think you'd find interesting.
He's good. I like him.
That he got advice from a personal coach of his, Renee Stewart. I don't know if you're familiar with Renee's name. She's an awesome person, been in the car business forever. And put him through an exercise of being able to visualize his 100th birthday
Oh yeah.
and what that would be like,
Mm-hmm.
your 100th birthday. Your family around you,
Yeah.
and it's what would it really, really look like, you know? And that's been with me literally every day since the podcast.
Yep.
I've thought about it every morning. It's part of what I'm trying to do.
I think that was the best part of the show I enjoyed the most because I just listened to it the other day before I came on while I was working out. I purposely listened to him and Chris Walsh, and I think that's super inspiring.
I think so.
Because you don't want to regret anything.
Right. Well, you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
Google and your AAA going on there, and it's like that's kind of the same thing. You know what I mean?
I
And
want him to see my climb up.
Right.
I want him to see
Right.
where I was, and
right.
I made the choice.
Shows them it could be done. Right.
Exactly, and
It's
being
important.
happy is just a choice.
Yeah, and another person that goes above and beyond with their clients, I think you'll see it over and over again, and it sounds like we're on repeat where, the best performers in the industry are people that take care of their clients, whether it's vendors taking care of dealer clients or it's dealerships taking care of the people they're selling cars to. You do things you don't have to do. You spend money you don't have to spend. You go to the dealership instead of calling them or shooting them an email. I think Troy does a lot of that stuff.
Right.
Obviously, you see it. Troy, he laughed at himself that he's trying to get more on social media, and I've noticed he has because 2 years ago he was a ghost on there.
Correct.
And it was a situation for him where he didn't need to be. His business was fine without being on social media, but he's seen the value in it now. And so people are starting to see he's got the mobile workstation. He goes out to the dealerships in the mobile workstation and makes a point of
I have a lot of
doing
respect for him.
face-to-face.
Right. I mean, he invested in this Mercedes. What do they call those?
Sprinter.
Sprinters,
Sprinter, right? And I mean, this dude. We have
He's a
mutual
real
clients. He goes to the store.
Yeah,
you
he's
don't
the
have
real
to do
deal.
that.
No.
Pick up the phone, handle it or don't handle it. Right. He goes to the store.
Troy is. I remember reading his book when I first got into the business, Turbocharge Your Life, and matter of fact, when I left my last company, he was one of the first people who reached out to me, and I actually drove out to his office to talk to him.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, but he, we didn't do any work together, but he sure left an impression on me and gave me a lot of advice that was very useful moving forward. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for Troy. So Troy, for listening, thank you for that talk years ago because it helped me get to where I'm going.
Awesome. Good. Thanks. Awesome company. Awesome friend of ours. And mydealerworld.com is how to get a hold
That
of
is
them.
correct.
Who else we got? Friends of the program.
Automotive HR.
Automotive HR.
Steven. I guess I got to talk about how often Steven is again today.
Tell us about Steven.
So Steven's another one. Steven doesn't really put a ton about himself personally out
At
on
all.
social
Right.
media, and the reasoning for that is his is different. It's because he's so damn busy and he literally doesn't have time to be on social media. And it's, not to say they're not a large company with a large infrastructure, but Steven, he created all the software on his own. He takes care of it like it's his. He does a lot of the fixing, a lot of the improvements. They're always working on new ways to improve the HR process. And, that's where he spends a lot of his time. He works, 16, 18-hour days, and it's just the way it is. He's putting the grind in now to pay the dividends later. And really, if you're considering any type of a DIY setup for your recruiting process, and it's another funny thing. People are like, well, isn't this a competitor of yours? I'm like, no, it's not a competitor of yours. This is true DIY. Yeah. A lot of dealers are more comfortable where they have their own HR department or a serious HR team, and they just need the tool. This is a tool. We use it. A lot of our clients use it for DIY type stuff. It's above and beyond anything else that's out there.
And he also will adapt it too.
Yeah, well, because it's his and it's not coming from a somewhere upstairs or a big corporation throwing out a cookie cutter platform.
Right,
he can make changes on the fly.
Right,
which is huge.
Right,
it's huge.
Yeah, his developers, the Silicon Valley nerds that work with him in developing this stuff, man, are just super.
I can
sharp.
imagine.
So none of it's white labeled. It's all his.
Good for him.
It's like this recruiting platform really is the best there is. There is no second place.
I'm sure you guys tried everything, so
we have tried a lot.
That's what I'm saying. If you're talking nice about this for a reason,
we're the masters of trial and error. I can assure you.
I get 4 emails from him a week. Should we try this? I'm like, no,
please don't.
We shouldn't try that.
Really?
It's costly.
Right?
No.
Yeah, but it's got robots in it.
Right. It sounds cool.
Right. You guys are the ones that believe in aliens. I'm just trying to bring it to our business.
I definitely do.
1 out of every 4 I'll call. I'll be like, all right, I'll call this guy and see what's up. But it's like, it's constant. It's constantly revolving. I talked to a client of ours, Mike Westbrook, who's out in California as well. He's in the Bay Area. And I started spewing out, and I'd been going for 5 minutes. He's like, you guys really got this down, don't you? And I said, yeah, but I'll tell you what, it's going to change in 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it right now. I feel good about what we're doing right now. It's going to change again. It'll keep changing. It'll change after that.
Changes literally a month ago.
I can imagine.
It doesn't change tomorrow, next week. It changes a month ago.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the technology is crazy, and artificial intelligence is going to take over the BDC. They're going to start talking to customers.
Anthony, what you just said is so important, because what's happening now with Google Jobs is if your job's not on Google, not showing, you're invisible.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. I don't care how much money you spend or who you spend it with, you're invisible. Now, to get a job posted on Google Jobs, hashtag learn to code. I mean, you have got to know code.
I can imagine.
And there's very few companies, the big ones, that even know how to take your job, aggregate your job from our job boards or out of our platforms and get them onto Google. Only one does, and that's ZipRecruiter, right?
Right.
And so it's... Man, I'm going to tell you what, artificial intelligence and the ability to be able to do that is it's not the next step. It was 2 steps ago that we're trying to stay ahead of, and no one else is in our world other
That's
than
good for you guys.
Yeah, it is.
Good for you guys.
Right. And
They're
that's
too lazy. They are.
I don't know, but we will never be.
You guys are a certain breed.
We're never going to be behind.
No,
we might be in a dead heat with somebody, but we will never ever be behind.
There's a reason why you guys are the leaders of what you do in the industry, right? You guys love what you do, and
we do,
and you're not willing to take risks. Like you said, you try everything.
Yeah.
And it's our people too. We talk about we find people for other stores. We had to find our people.
Yeah.
And the people that we have been with us for a long time or are going to be with us for a long time.
You guys have an awesome staff. It was such a treat to be with you guys during that conference.
Appreciate it.
They're pretty cool people. 70% have been with us over 10 years.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how many people you went through just to find them. Because people ask me when I'm going to scale, and I'm like, yeah, good luck with that one.
It's
hard,
brutal.
Man.
We've been trying because we have been this year. This is the first time. This is the first time we've made multiple hires in a given year. And
a while.
God knows, since the recession probably.
Yeah.
And wow, dude, you'll go through an interview. And I mean, we're a recruiting company, so we do it right, and we go through our process. And it's like, this is the person. We're 1 weekend. What the hell? How'd we miss this?
It's like going on that date, right?
You're right.
They sent their twin in to interview.
Right. Everybody puts their best foot forward first. 60 days later, like, well, who are you again?
Right.
Hey, this is time warp time.
We got.
I guess how long we've been here?
How long?
2.5 hours.
I believe it.
Wow.
I believe it goes fast when you're
And I
having
think
fun.
I started the
I've had fun.
timer short.
Well, I got an angle on the timer this week, so I've been watching it.
Nice.
I keep my eye on it.
It's
but yeah,
crazy.
it doesn't
And
feel like it.
Naomi's out. She's
I'm
been
sure.
waiting for
Yeah.
us, so-
Don't forget our friends at Tacoby.
Yeah, we got to talk
Oh
about
yeah,
Kobe real quick.
Tacoby, Jason,
We're talking about
Dan,
Jason
Scarlett,
Gardner.
and the whole crew.
risk taker himself. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
He is.
Right.
That dude puts it out there,
Mhm.
and
He's not
that's
afraid.
no, he has no fear, and it seems to be prevalent through that whole company.
Yeah.
And they're very confident because they provide results for dealers. They're super confident, and they just tell it like it is and do it. And they're kind of like Troy in the sense that, well, it's like any of us, right? It's like what we do. We'll tell a dealer, here, you have a need.
Yeah.
Here's what we'll do. Now, here's what you need to do after we've done what we've done.
Yeah.
Or it will screw up.
Yeah.
So just, we've done 18,000 of these things in 21 years, so you're going to have to trust us here, pal.
Yeah.
And if they screw it up, it gets screwed up. Same thing with you.
Yeah.
You can give them the knowledge, but if they don't put it into practice, it's a
all
waste
done.
of their dough.
And I'm the first person to get blamed.
Of course, every single time.
Uh-huh.
And I've seen, a lot of posts from Jason and Scarlett and Dan and so forth, like, just do it the way we tell you to do it, and it'll work. It's like zero brainer.
Yeah.
Do this, follow the process, and it'll work. And Tacoby just flat out works.
Yep.
They just work.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's,
And the other thing, you talked about the post he made today, or no, you
I
talked
did,
about the
yeah.
post he made today. The footnote and all that was he lost everything twice.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
you talked about it.
Yeah.
You've lost everything. You've gone
Yep.
down to zero.
Yeah.
Troy went down to zero.
Well, we
you,
did.
You emptied out at the recession to keep everything going. I mean,
It humbles you.
It humbles you, and
yeah.
it's like you said. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Never.
Because I know there's you guys probably aren't, but Game of Thrones watchers out there. There's a kid on the show who can see everything, and he knows the entire timeline of history. And people would come, and everyone's complaining about this is going on, that's going on, but you wouldn't be in the spot you were if all that horrible stuff wouldn't
Agreed.
happen. So you
Agreed.
can't give it back. You can't trade it, because if none of that happens, you're
Yeah.
not where you are right in this moment. So it all has to happen. And I know Jason's very careful to not just pump up and beat his chest, because I think what he's doing more than anything is just showing
Trying
how
to show you what
proud
it
he is.
takes.
He's showing what it takes
Mm-hmm.
and where he's come from, and it's okay to be proud of yourself. After
Absolutely
you
it
go
is.
through all that. None of that was handed to him. None
Yeah.
of it was just lucked into. It was
Yeah.
just tons and tons of work and trying and failing.
There has to be something beyond the grind, right?
Yeah.
So celebrate our wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You got to celebrate your wins. I can remember going to the first Tony Robbins thing and doing the fire walk, and
Yeah.
it was like when you're through those hot coals, celebrate,
Yeah.
Right.
because you've just walked on 12-foot bed of 2,000 degrees
Yeah.
burning coals. Like, celebrate.
Why do people think that's bogus?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like that's.
I
not
was
something.
watching a Joe Rogan podcast a couple days ago, and he had on a holistic doctor, and they were talking about stuff like this. And he had done it, and it didn't, and it burned his feet. Done it, burned his feet, and then he went to a Robbins thing. And I don't know any other way to explain it other than the fact that we must have been mass hypnotized by Tony. We were put into some sort of mind state.
Yeah, like a trance.
All I know is he gave us words to say: cool moss, while you're walking across 2,000 degree, 12-foot bed by 3-foot bed of coals, with Robbins people down on each side. At the end, there's a collector with a hose.
Yeah.
And I got on those cold, and it was cold that night, and we had been there 12, 13 hours,
standing.
Wow.
right? And then we go outside, take your shoes and socks off, roll up your pants, because you don't want the coals lighting your pants on fire,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's legit.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I could hear the crunch of my feet
On the
hitting
coals?
the charcoals,
Yeah. It's crazy. I love
saying
it.
cool moss, cool moss, cool moss, walking slowly because you don't want to fall
Yeah.
or you catch on fire,
Yeah.
which is not good.
No, it's not.
So, and at the end, they squirt it off and you celebrate. And I go and look, my feet aren't even red.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It's like, how could the 2,000 degree hot coal not burn
Burn.
your skin?
Yeah.
So I don't know how to answer your question. There must be something in our biology that pushes out.
Human mind's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, for
Strong.
sure.
I had read that the ash over the coal is an insulator, so it insulates and you don't get the heat. However, it's not like those ashes are just sitting there.
Yeah, really.
No, you're
they're
burying your feet.
Well, yeah, but they're throwing new coals on there, which breaks up.
Yeah.
You know, so
That's right. They were. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I kind of
Still
discounted that.
amazing.
Yeah.
I just also find it difficult to believe that every single person there had their mind in the right place, even though he went through all that.
no, they
so
didn't.
some people should have gotten burned.
They didn't. I was dating a girl. The reason I got to meet Robbins and know all this stuff is I was dating a woman that worked for him that would go into dealerships and businesses and pitch Tony Robbins and sell them tickets, right? So she got burnt that night because she was working all day. She was not paying attention to Tony.
And mindset wasn't there.
Her state, right?
Yeah.
Because he calls it state.
Yeah, state of mind.
State of mind.
Yeah.
And she was not in state.
Yeah.
And got burnt.
Yep.
No
So
shit.
yeah.
Well, I'd gotten a little burn where a coal got caught in like a fold of your
Foot, yeah.
my
Oh.
foot, and when they hosed off, it didn't get.
Oh, I
that.
could see that happening.
yeah.
So that happened, but
Yeah.
otherwise, and I don't know that I felt as if I was really in the state. Like I think I fight stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
sure.
he's trying to take
Yep.
me into the state. I'm
Right.
not going.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So
I know what you're saying.
I love him. He's amazing.
so, but I
great.
know I
It's
did the
great.
walk, and I know I didn't get burned. I know my wife did the walk; she didn't get burned, and everyone around me did the walk and didn't get burned. It was pretty amazing.
Pretty
I mean, I think the biggest part of it was to take that step.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
First
think
step,
that's
right?
where he got me into the mindset of I
Right.
can take that step
Right.
and I will take that
Right.
step. But
He's the best that does it. I
Yeah.
hands down, I think he's
Cool
one of the
dude.
best that does it.
So
Yeah.
we digress. Jason, you're awesome.
Jason, you're awesome.
Dan Webb, looking forward to meeting you and having you on.
Scarlett, you're awesome.
Scarlett, you're awesome.
Jacoby's awesome.
You guys are killing it. Anthony, in 5 minutes, can you tell us about? I know we talked about the conference that you want to put on for the restaurant and real estate and dealership triumvirate, if you
Yeah.
will. Can you talk about what you're doing or what you might have coming up, or just if there's one thing that you want people to take home from our conversation today about yourself and about your company?
Okay, yeah. Well, like I said, I got the Sip Sample Socialize going on. That's going to
Sip,
be
sample, socialize.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is
there
really
you
good.
go.
Right.
Well, now you just closed it right
yeah,
there.
exactly, right?
You brought me in.
That's going to hopefully happen on July 8th. That's a tentative date. I'm just trying to nail down the venue. I also got myself involved in something called Ocean. I got involved 8 years ago. It's called Ocean Fest, and it was when I first started for my old company. There's a festival that goes down on Long Branch, New Jersey. It's the biggest fireworks display on the Eastern Seaboard. There's about 250,000 people. And randomly, I just called up the Chamber of Commerce and said, "How can I get involved as a vendor?" And they didn't have anything available, but they said, "You know what? Our glow stick guy didn't come back, and if you want to be the official light up toy and glow stick guy, you'll be exclusive."
Shut
so
up.
I've been doing it for 8 years, and I absolutely love
No
it.
way.
Literally 250,000 people.
What a crazy
I'm
story.
gonna show you.
I've seen you on your social do this.
I haven't missed that. I haven't seen
Oh,
that.
I hire all my friends, and I pay them really good money, and we sell toys and light up toys to kids. And
That's
this is my logo
exceptional.
for this
That's
year.
Very cool.
So like the Parkway sign.
Show it to.
That's the logo right there. So that happens on July 4th every year.
Awesome.
But my goal for this year is to be in 100 rooftops in 2019. I'm on pace to do that.
Are you?
Yes,
Gee
I am on pace to do that. Let's see. I'm going to show you this other picture. This is a Sip Sample Socialize. This is what it looks like here.
100 rooftops in 12 months.
In 12 months.
And 12 vacations.
In 12
The
vacation,
12
I was going to say.
That's I'm
We
betting
talked
again.
about
That ain't happening.
No, he's
While
not.
you're
He's
looking for
think
that,
back-
He's
yeah.
doing that for the missus. That's not happening.
Where is this? Okay, so that's why it's on here. So the Sip Sample Socialize, this is what this looks like. And I would love to get you guys involved if you could somehow, because I think your expertise would go along.
Yeah,
with this.
well, we were 50-50 until you called it Sip Sample Socialize, and now we're definitely
So that's
in.
what the
Yeah.
image.
He's
looks like.
asking you for money, you know.
No,
so-
not at all.
very sharp.
Not at all.
Very sharp. Put that one up to the camera too, if
So
you
this,
don't
is
mind.
this is the initial promo.
Very cool.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm going to be trying to gear myself more towards the motivational speaking. So I'm actually going to go to Tony Robbins' Business Mastery class.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good for you.
So when you guys started speaking about him, I totally got excited about that. And, I just really want to take myself to the next level of my career, and I just think that's by just staying consistent with what I do, staying positive. I want to try to get my restaurant off the ground within the next year and a half. I would love to own a restaurant. I'm writing a book. That should be done probably within the next 3 months. I've been writing it on the side. It's called A Race to the Relationship, because that's what I really believe it is. What else am I doing?
And do you sleep at night?
4 or 5 hours. 4 or 5 hours.
Seriously?
I can't really sleep too often. My mind.
It's crazy how some people need less sleep. I couldn't do 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours. I just can't fall asleep at night, and my son wakes up early. But
sure. You gotta see you run because I see you running at crazy times.
I do,
sometimes.
and I'm cleansing my body. I'm not a big drinker, but I did other things in life, and I used to enjoy different things. And I totally told myself I was gonna do a cleanse. So I'm in the middle of a cleanse right now, where I'm cleansing my body out of all my toxins, of everything I put in my life. So, or my body, I should say.
So the Tony Luke's was a nice touch.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't force it on.
I don't know what else to pick up.
That looked delicious.
It's Philly.
Beach.
It's Philadelphia. I don't know what else to bring in.
But
they were great, by the way.
They were outstanding.
Go ahead.
Always.
What else? I just passed up a chance to go see the fight the other night. I was invited to go.
MMA?
No, the Canelo fight, Canelo Alvarez. I passed that up. One of my dealers offered to bring me out there.
Wow.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, but I'm putting myself through a cleanse, so I didn't trust myself to go out to Vegas. I'm not good when it comes to peer pressure. I succumb to that all the
Have
time.
a drink. Okay.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Tangerine tonic used to be my drink. So you're going to see me in a lot of dealerships. You're going to see me just sip, sample, socialize. You're going to see me on July 4th. You're going to see me taking vacations. You're going to see me have another child. We just found out, and we were going to announce today, so hopefully my wife's not watching, but I'm going to have a little girl.
So you're having a
I
girl.
was going to ask you. I thought it was too early. Congrats,
Thank you.
man.
We didn't even. So we were talking pre-show, and you didn't even tell me that.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
And now you can be done forever and ever and ever.
Right.
Exactly.
It's the
One of
perfect
each.
family.
That's me.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations,
Yeah.
man.
And,
That's awesome.
Her name's going to be Asha.
Nice.
Asha.
Yeah, it starts with
Are
an
we
A.
going AAA again or no?
I told Anand is Anand Anthony Alagona,
Right.
and Anand means happiness. And I told her, I said, either I want her middle name to be your name, which she wasn't a big fan
Well,
of at first,
oh,
but I
that'd
think
be
she's
good.
going to do it, or my mom's middle name, which is Ann, so she could be a AAA too.
okay.
But Asha means hope, so it's going to be hope and happiness.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
nice.
You're gonna love it. I don't have anything to compare it to, but girls are awesome.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just glad I'm getting it out of the way because my wife originally wanted to have another boy, and I knew that if we had another boy, she'd ask me for another one. and
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm 11 years older than my wife, and I was
Right.
just telling him I don't want my kids' friends to be like, "Is that your dad or your grandpa?"
Yeah.
Right.
You know. So,
Right.
you're gonna see me have another kid, and
Awesome.
just try to take myself to the next level of my career, my friend. And I really appreciate you guys asking me to go on. I mean, it's even more pleasing knowing that you've watched me my entire time. You guys have known me from when I was with a different company to where I've struggled to where I am now. So it's number one, I appreciate the support. You guys have been nothing but supportive. This is why whenever you guys ask me to do something, the answer will always be yes. So thank you for everything along the way.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Thanks
I know
for-
you do.
I mean,
Absolutely.
there's a sacrifice on your part, and really appreciate.
No,
you
I'll
coming
tell
in
you what.
today.
I told him this is a good way to get me not to go to a dealership and not to do anything.
Well, that's kind of our pitch to people that we're asking to come on. Brian Lassiter over at the Cherry Hill stores. I want him to come on in a couple months. I'm like, dude, if nothing else, just get the hell out of the store.
man.
For a
Absolutely.
day,
Yeah.
eat a Tony Luke steak and just vent a little bit and bullshit for 2 hours. It's
Right.
like that's part of the reason I'm here. We work from home. It's like, dude,
Right.
get the hell out of the house.
I'll tell you what. Anybody
Love it.
watching this video that's an Automax client, you ever sign me up, you're gonna get a discount. I promise. You just tell
There we
me
go.
you're friends
There
with
you go.
Automax.
And where can they find you other than on your social media page?
Right.
AnthonyAlagona.com. My phone number is 732-456-0753. My phone is always on, so you can call me. My email is alagona812@gmail. And like I said, anything I could do for you guys, please don't ever hesitate to ask, 'cause I'll say yes.
Same here.
Real quick, I took a lot away from today, but your relay team analogy,
I got that from Joe Calla.
well, that was really good.
Yeah, listen, we're all racing
That
towards the
applies
same
to
goal.
not just within a deal. I mean, that applies to every
Yeah, and
aspect.
this is our third show now. I said it to Troy, I said it to Chris, and I actually mean it. Got something from today.
Yeah.
You know,
Good.
and Troy said, "Hey, I hope that every time I talk or every time I'm anywhere, that somebody in that room, one person, takes something away from it." And I did, and I wasn't lying when I said my wife has your 10 things
steps,
to
yeah.
do to shift your paradigm, and I have it now next to my mindset, and I in my nightstand to change my mindset, and I'm going to consciously make a better attempt.
You
to
know
do
why
a
I
lot
created
of that
that thing?
stuff.
I created that thing because there's a gentleman on my Facebook page. His name is Bill Lewis. And Bill, if you're watching this, I love you, bro. He was vice president of the Parts House, almost like it's like an AutoZone. I'm sorry if I compared you to AutoZone because you're way better. Anyways, he called me up out of the blue. He said, "Anthony, I don't know what you do. I want to kind of find out what you do more." And when I was down at Infinity of Coconut Creek, he lived down near in Fort Lauderdale. And he came and met me at my hotel at 7 o'clock in the morning to find out exactly what I do. And then he goes, "I would love for you to come train my people." So he brought me into his annual sales conference where all of his salespeople around the country came in, and I trained them. and Ford sponsored that event, and Ford was there, and they saw me speak, and then from that, Ford asked me to go to speak, and they flew me to the Gaylord Sam's Resort last in Orlando, and I actually created those 10 steps for Ford at that conference. So when I came to you, that was kind of like my leftover pamphlets.
Yep.
And I was like, let me bring it.
well,
Because, I'm a trainer.
They're strong, man. You should get them out there more. They're worthy of Ford, that's for sure.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I just wanted your trainers to understand that if I can do this and not be in a business, I didn't have a brand to fall back on. They have Automax to fall back on, which is a brand that's very strong, that's highly respected. So all this is about putting yourself out there and having the right strategy. And you guys got a great team, great people. Danielle Burke, I love you, girl. Shout out to you.
She'll appreciate that.
Yeah, I love her.
She was
She's a
going to be
great
watching.
person.
She's like, Anthony's going to be on.
I love that girl.
Yeah,
she is
she's a big
super
fan.
positive.
She's a big
Yep.
Yes.
Anthony fan.
Thanks.
We're all big fans. So thanks again, man.
My
Really
pleasure.
appreciate it. And anytime.
Yes, absolutely. I'll take
open
it on that.
Yeah, come back.
Open invitation.
I promise you I
anytime.
will. I'm too close not to.
We'll eat healthy next time.
We love you, world. We're out.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Peace.